next year, we're going to be going to Costa Rica as well and doing the exact same thing. The Costa Rica around that time is great. The water clarity is really phenomenal. The temperature is just awesome because it's right there on the equator. We're going to be exploring the rainforest, exploring the coasts, and learning a little bit about the marine creatures and also the jungly creatures as well. And it's going to be really, really cool. So if you want to travel all around the world with me, you can do that. Someone's asking in the chat, what's the price tag on those things? The trip packages are around $3,000, which isn't cheap. But go through it and tell me it's not freaking worth it. Like, we do so much stuff. And the Costa Rica one especially, the reason why that one is the same price as all of the other ones on the other side of the world is because we actually combine 2 different travel packages into that. I work with this company called Trova Trip, which is, first and foremost, they're a travel agency, but they work with influencers, creators, whatever, to like do these things where it's supposed to be just like, oh, my favorite, makeup person is going to the beach in, Bali, and I'm going to go with them, and I'm going to do this yoga retreat or this, whatever wellness hike through the things. It's not supposed to be so much what we make it, which is just freaking epic education adventures. When they first reached out to me, it was awesome. They want to know if they could work with me, and I told them I wanted to make it educational and accessible as much as possible. And we came up with the Galapagos as our first trip, and so we planned to go to the Galapagos. We announced this thing, and they're like, "Hey, you gotta announce this thing like 6 months out because it's going to take a long time to sell tickets to this thing to the Galapagos." We sold out within 45 minutes. And they were like, "Well, I mean, you have all these people that clearly want to do so. Where else do you want to go?" I'm like, "We're going to go to the Galapagos again. Just keep doing that." And they're like, "That's never going to sell." And I'm like, "I don't care. We're going to do it again. You didn't say this was going to sell in the first place." And we did it some more. And we sold, we ended up doing 5 back-to-back trips to the Galapagos last year. And so every single time, we keep going outside of the norm of what's supposed to be a business-worthy adventure. And it's working because people want to learn. They want to go explore the world in a way that's more than just superficial. They want to dig deep into the anthropology and the culture and the flora and the fauna and the everything of the region. So if you want to tag along for one of these, they're a lot of fun. We're doing 2 trips in Zimbabwe and then 1 in Costa Rica next year, or the year after that. We're looking at Greece, Iceland, and Madagascar, another one. We're looking at a bunch of things. So make sure you sign up for those. If you want to sign up for those, they're really, really cool. Again, you can find all of that and more at valkailabs.com.
What up?
Hey.
So basically I was trying to we had a problem with the simultaneous vertical stream that we were trying to get out on this, because often the vertical streams end up with better callers, or different callers, we'll say. Not better, just different in quality, in that they're improved. Anyway, so I was working on that as you were promoting. Has anybody mentioned LineCon Online Live yet?
No, I was talking about important stuff.
Okay, so tomorrow is the next LineCon Online Live, LineCon Online 4, featuring Seth Andrews, Austin Archer, and Luxander. They will be talking about some awesome shiznit, and that is at 3 o'clock. It is available, the tickets to it. It's an online thing. Ticketing is done through Patreon. So basically, if you become a patron of the $15 tier or above, you are automatically in, and you'll not only be able to watch it live, but participate in the Q&A. Q&A is exclusively for the people who do that. Everything else then eventually gets released as a clip, but it is very much an eventually situation. And so, yeah, if you would like to be a part of that, that's what you're gonna have to do. Now I need to get all of my windows up because I've been focusing exclusively on those other windows. And so I've got windows to get, but definitely please do that. All right. So we are here to take calls from Theists. That phone number is 720-619-2288, 720-619-2288. From Theists, from MAGA. We disagree with you on just about fucking everything. So if you would like to call, this stream is going out simultaneously in vertical for people who do prefer that. And a big note that we aren't going to be doing a lot of like ally calls. We are looking for, sometimes at the beginning here, there can be a little bit of time where you get in like that, but we are looking for people with whom we mostly disagree. We're not looking for a bunch of feel-good stuff. So That's the whole
We're here
thing.
to stoke the fires of hatred and keep the internet spicy.
So you're going to Zimbabwe, huh?
Yeah, we're doing Zimbabwe next year. It's going to be radical.
Very optimistic that there will be a next year.
Who knows?
Mean, dude, stuff, it gets whacker and whacker. Did you watch Mamdani in the White House with Trump today?
I saw the clip that everybody's sharing where he called Trump a fascist. That's about it.
I guess I haven't even seen that clip. I watched the broader thing, but I guess I didn't see the part where, and I just know that, wait, to his face, he called Trump a fascist?
Yeah, so he's talking to the reporters. He's standing next to Trump, and one of the reporters says, do you call Trump a fascist? I forgot how exactly they asked. And Trump looks at him and goes, it's okay, you can say it. And Mamdani goes, oh, well, yes. And so that's the whole clip, and everyone's sharing the hell out of that.
It is weird because Donald Trump obviously is the caricature of the bully that as soon as you're like in front of him and you stand up to him, he folds kind of shit. But then when you leave, he talks more shit than ever because this is so like the normal thing for him. Like somebody goes, and in some cases they end up bootlicking, like Bill Maher. Like, yeah, I hate this guy. He's never going to leave office. Like Bill Maher, so loud on those things. And then he's like, anyway, he invited me over and we had a great dinner. It was so nice. Bill Maher, God, what a fucking 9 ways to Sunday. You've been a disappointment since a very important part of a lot of people's deconstruction, you know, because of the religious movie.
Yeah, but even that, I look back at that and I loved it when I was a kid because I was an edgy teenager who wanted to see people get offended. And now I look back at it and I'm like, oh, that's all this movie was. It was just an edgy teenager going around with a camera, finally being allowed to be like, Jesus is a bitch. And that's the whole movie. And it's like,
I'm just asking questions.
There's just nothing substantive. Yeah, it's very much that. And then you see now later on in his career, that's kind of, he's fallen into that exact same kind of like right-wing podcaster. He is the left wing of right-wing podcasters. You know what I mean? Where it's just like,
it's funny
just being provocative for no reason and not wanting to challenge the status quo at all.
You hear that? It's funny too how Luthien, will you just send me on Discord what the IP address of VMix Social is right now? It is funny now. Wouldn't matter. It's a local IP address. Yeah, it would get everybody nowhere. Unless somebody had already hacked into my system, it would get them nowhere. It was mostly just boring. Okay, .51.202. Uh-oh, I said it. It's the 51 that threw it off. 202 : and then we got to go with our port numbers. And that didn't get me there, did it? Bet you it's this fucking.
This is the high octane entertainment that you tuned in for. Is one dude shamelessly self-promoting and the other person doing tech support while we kind of half-ass talk shit about Bill Maher. What a show. Glad we went live.
It's the best one. Oh, it's because I wanted. The expectations couldn't be lower. Also, we still are waiting for a MAGA or a Theist to call in with anything of substance. Then again, I've been waiting for years for that very thing.
We only have about 800 people watching, so it's fine.
Hey, babe, in the bottom right, if you'll hit the arrow and go to Avast, right-click it, and go to Manage Shields and disable for 5 hours. I think that's what's blocking me from accessing what I need here.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get Avast
up. Bottom right, hit the arrow to show the like extra programs. Right-click Avast, which looks orange with 3 feathers, and then go to Manage Shields and disable for 5 hours. I think I put Avast on your system for us, so you would be able to do that. Your bit.
Yeah, no, I've even if you hadn't, it's like the first thing that I put on everything.
I like Avast because of the driver updater. That's literally the reason why I like it more than the other ones. Like it's the driver updaters, super dope. You just learned about Lawrence Krauss today. Someone said over in the vertical, what, that he's on the list? That he, by the way, do we have confirmation he visited the island? We knew he was buds with Epstein, which it's no surprise that he was like, oh man, I got to write this cancellation book before it's too late. And that way I can say, oh, well, I wrote that book. And then now, of course, because I wrote that book, the liberals want to take me down. The woke mob are coming for me only because, yeah.
Is that the one that came out a little while ago that fucking genetically modified skeptic made a video about it, where it's like him and like Jordan Peterson and a bunch of other people writing a book complaining about like the how you can't be like how science and academia has been taken over by the left and all the shit, and it's just
Sounds like that
complaining.
book.
It's just right wing complaining.
Yeah. of the PC, babe. Well, next to like the volume rocker, there's an up arrow. You see it? The little orange icon with the 3 feathers. You right click it, and then you go manage shields, and you hit disable for 5 hours. We all know it's Jimmy calling me babe, says Guzman. Did you find it? Did you find it? All right, I'm gonna go figure this out. You keep talking. Okay, you disabled for 5 hours. You clicked OK. Could you though? Did you right click it? The orange thing? And you click. Yeah, and then manage shields and then disable for 5 hours. That should cover us. There we go.
And I put it back. Do it backwards now.
Shut up. I'll kill you. The last thing you see, this face. That's what I say on air as opposed to what I tell you in text messages.
Yeah, well, you put a comma in a confusing place as well, and that's what threw me off.
I was trying to do 400 things.
We're setting up for this, and Jimmy texts me and says the link will be a little late because I'm trying to fix this and that. And I said, okay, well, just I'm here on time because unlike some people, I care about this channel. Yeah. And he says, the last thing you see when you leave, comma, this world will be my butthole.
That speech to text is was taking some liberties.
When I leave this, the last thing I see when I leave this, the world will be his butthole. That's the statement.
All right.
I feel like this is a hostile work environment.
Frankly, the world already is my butthole.
That's what it is.
The world is my butthole. Okay, is that the reason why this is not working? 720-619-2288. We are willing to talk to Theists. We are willing to talk to anyone but Andrew. I'm sure he's queuing up. Anybody but Andrew. All right, I gotta go check on something. BRB, you keep talking and get some real people. Hey, people, go make your shitty MAGA friends call. And go harass people.
Well,
and click like.
That is the we click like we do these shows like at least on a weekly basis. Like we have a ton of shows on this channel. Most of them run once a week. Sometimes we do bonus things like this one. And the point is always the same. It's to open the door to people who want to have serious conversations with folks who disagree with them. You know, we are unabashedly leftist, socialist, atheist, humanist. We support LGBT people of all flavors. We love, diversity in terms of race, gender, sexuality. We encourage differences of opinions and people to call in and challenge us. And there are a myriad times where we've learned things on this channel and where we've changed our minds when talking to friends. But when it comes to calls, like, I don't know what it is about it. It's either that MAGA just can't muster a conversation, or they call in with the worst possible talking points that like anybody's ever heard. It's just what we've had conversations on this channel about whether or not racism exists, about whether or not Trump knows how to read, about whether or not the plan for America, the steady and very noticeable slide into fascism is a good thing or a bad thing. I've yet to have somebody call in and accuse the left of fascism that knows what the fuck fascism is, or who wants to argue about whether or not there's a genocide in Palestine that can also define Palestine. And it's the same thing as when we talk about evolution. Yet to talk to a creationist who knows what the definition of the word evolution is. Hasn't happened yet. Waiting for the day. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. Oh, hilarious. I think I summoned him. Hey people, Andrew's trying to get in the queue there. So just for the record, if we don't, let's say, for the moment, if you want us to wait, you need to send a super chat with hashtag Bandrew for us to put off until another call comes in. And let's start it at $50. We'll keep delaying. We'll keep delaying. Right now, we've got an empty thing. We'll start at $50 worth of hashtag Bandrews. If you want us to hold off grabbing Andrew out of, because look, I know y'all aren't wanting that call.
Nightmare.
And Luthien, if you'll grab the other call. No. So correct the pronunciation of something. No, get the fuck out of here, dude. No one wants that call. But you can screen the other. Well, let's find out. Hey, MAGA, Theists, Christians, we think you're wrong. I think Jesus would hate MAGA.
Oh, agree.
I think
Hard agree.
Secular humanists are much more Christ-like. By the way, I posted this on Threads. Yeah, right. In the good ways. We aren't telling slaves to be nice to their masters, even the cruel ones. It's only a virtue if you do it with the cruel ones. It's easy to, there is something funny implicit. There is like, where it's like, you're nice masters. It's not hard to be nice to them, just purely, completely accepting the concept of slavery in the first place. Is what is implied there, where it's like, no. Obviously, slavery is good and nice masters are good masters. But, come on, guys. I'm not seeing hashtag Bandrews in the chat. We might end up taking them, guys. I just got to warn you.
God, no. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and create my little, hey, MAGA, you could call me right now and tell me how I'm wrong. But I don't think you will, because you can't survive fact checking. And then we just put, what's that?
I said you said those words about fact checking. They don't like that shit.
Yeah, it's gay. It kind of is. If you think about it, fact checking is kind of gay. I mean, let's be real. Fact checking is pretty gay.
I like how we already have got $15 for the super chat saying Bandrew. That's wild.
Yep. The world is a butthole.
Oh,
despite my old age, I am still not making enough wage. That's pretty good. That's great.
Do you see that video recently of a bunch of fucking white MAGA dudes? There was just some, I don't know what the context was, but it was just a bunch of Muslim people praying outside, and these fucking white MAGA dudes running over. It must have been an event because they knew it was happening, and they went and got bacon and were like wagging bacon at these people and like starting physical confrontations. Doing the whole I'm not touching you kind of thing until the people got up and like started by like, and I was thinking about it while I was watching this. Like, it's an isolated event. It's like 6 people involved. Sucks. But I'm watching this and I'm like, if this was one Muslim dude interfering with one Christian guy, it would be national news. And Donald Trump would be tweeting about it. And we'd be, everyone would be just, and Muslims around the world would be expected to step up and call this out and to denounce this. And it's like, dude, it's wild to me just how bold like these fucking MAGA Nazis have gotten. These fascist fucking losers who believe that this country is just for them. It's wild to me just how emboldened they are at this moment. We have now broken over the Bandrew limit, so Andrew will not be our next call.
Somebody posted my photo and wrote, women don't look good in beards. They think I'm a trans man. They can always tell. People. They can always tell.
Have you seen the people transvesticating freaking Erica Kirk now?
Yeah, I mean,
it's wild.
To me, I think some of those are jokes. That's probably the groypers. We have some calls.
Every time I think it's a joke, it isn't, is the problem. And I thought transvestigation as a whole was a joke until I realized, well, it was the funniest shit I'd seen until I realized they were serious. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, they're for real. They're for real.
They're so for real, and it's wild.
Promise pointing out on threads that Trump really, really wants to be Mom Donnie's friend. I imagine like being somebody close to that handsome and young. Yeah. Let's see.
He's just jealous because that person has people who can stand in a room with him and actually want to be there.
I'm just going to spam this response to a bunch of the people on threads who are blowing my eye. Because I wrote Jesus would hate MAGA, and I'm getting a message a minute about it.
Yeah. It's okay. You do that. We'll all just sit here.
Well, there's calls coming in. I'm just letting them screen so we can get a good one that isn't. Guys, what's with the atheist calls? I don't care. I love you and everything, but I don't care. Like, we're using up phone lines.
We can burn through these things.
Yeah, but then can you? And I love you for it, but can you?
Yes, I can. All
right, go for it. You go for it while I do this.
All right, cool. Tara, you're on the line with Forrest and Only Forrest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I just had a quick question, and then I'll pop out. I was debating with someone a while ago, and I thought they were arguing from the point of an agnostic atheist. Turns out they're arguing from a point of Gnostic atheist. Can you explain that? And I'll just pop out now.
Yeah, Gnostic atheism is just the assertion that there is no God, and you know that for sure. It is just as much of a faith-based claim as saying that there is a God, and you know that for sure. Agnostic atheism is the only one of that Punnett square of the four possible options that doesn't require an evidence claim, a faith claim, any of those things, because you're saying, I don't know, and I have no evidence to make a straight answer. So yeah, Gnostic atheism is a thing, and it's also sometimes called hard atheism. It's saying, I know for sure there is no God. Thank you very much for the call.
But you're not right. It's not much of a faith-based claim at all. You can make hard atheism and strong atheism. Both Matt and I are hard atheists because we both believe we can.
Well, it depends on if you're talking.
We can demonstrate why God is in the same way you can with wizards and everything else. For me, you can make a clear line of where humans invented God and what it came from, and So, but it's kind of like saying like, I gnostically, or like I have a knowledge that evolution is true, but because that doesn't account for a potential magical explanation that could counter our knowledge of it, then I can't actually be a Gnostic evolutionist. Like that would be great. That would be terribly silly.
Well, I'm not getting into fucking epistemology here. I'm saying you can be a hard atheist or a strong atheist or whatever the fuck about specific gods, but about the idea of anything that could ever be called a god ever outside of space and time and all these other ridiculous fucking claims, the proper answer is I have no reason to believe that exists, not I know for sure that doesn't, because that would be a claim that requires you to know something you don't. That's all I'm saying.
I think unless you're going to like go all the way to like solipsism, that doesn't work. It's like in as much as anything can be known, we can eliminate the possibility of a God within the concept of like natural versus supernatural. And then again, we can wear the concept of a God, just like wizards. I'm Gnostic about my knowledge that wizards are an invention of humans. And so but I can't account for it. It's almost like a way of saying you can't know truly anything, and then you're falling all the way down into solipsism. I would go so far as to say that I know gods don't exist.
It inevitably
I do understand what Forrest is saying here. I do know if someone said Jimmy doesn't understand. I actually know precisely what Forrest is saying here. It is
Jimmy doesn't know anything I'm saying.
It is literally the same. It's an equivocation of solipsism, essentially.
I appreciate the people in the chat who are pointing out that it's not my fault this call has gone on for as long as it has.
There's no call. We're not on a call.
We're still talking about. I could have gone through 2 more calls in this time. There's 2 other people here that I could have burned through.
Well, then be right this time.
We got Bailey, pronouns they and her, calling in from Texas, who wants to talk about God. Hey, Bailey, you're on the line with Forrest and Only Forrest. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing great. Yourself?
Never had a bad day. So you say you feel obligated to believe in a God, and you want to know how to get rid of that feeling, right?
Yeah, I grew up in not like a super churchy household, but one where like a vague belief in God was an expectation, and I want to get rid of that.
Yeah. Then I would encourage you to just gloss over in your mind, just kind of like look around and see all the other ways that you differentiate yourself from your upbringing and all the other things that you've grown out of, and ask yourself why this God question is so special. Does it do anything for you, or does it only bring you further trauma and pain? Can you address it the same way that you would any other knowledge claim? And most importantly, just try it. Just give it a shot. Try acting like you don't believe in this God for a week and see if it isn't so comfortable that you forget you're even trying. And then when, inevitably, you snap awake in the middle of the night like, oh my glob, I haven't believed in this God for a minute, realize how comfortable and how happy you have been for the past however long, and let that be your guide. That's what I would do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hope it helps. You are your own person, and nothing about your childhood defines you except unless you let it. So I hope you enjoy fashioning your own life in a way that makes you happy, because you are the sculptor and the marble. Have an awesome rest of your day, Bailey.
You as well.
Bye.
Someone said, it's funny because you have all these MAGA people saying Jesus didn't hate, and then another person saying, I'm going to go to hell for making the comment that Jesus would hate MAGA. How, like, legitimately, if you believe Jesus and God can't hate, can you name one thing I could do as hateful as torturing somebody for eternity?
Literally
Anyone,
the rest of
any
time,
theist, call in and you tell me that there is a mild possibility that anyone could potentially hate as much as God does by sending people to hell. And if anybody wants to argue, since there were some people talking shit in chat that Gnostic atheism is impossible, you're welcome to call in. I'll school you.
Don't do that call. Don't do that call.
Do it.
That call sounds terrible.
I'll take care of you. I'll take care of your misconception. Lazaro
we've
in
got
Texas.
Line 8. Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Thank you. I was about to say.
Lazaro in Texas is. I just read the note. Lazaro, is that how you say your name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. I'm also in Texas. When we hanging out?
Hey.
Sure. I don't know. I don't know where you're at. Austin.
Yeah, ish. Austin-ish.
Okay. Nah.
More the rural areas near Austin.
I'm in the border-ish.
Oh, I got you.
You know,
so probably never, because I don't really leave my little town. All right, Lazaro, what was the point you wanted to make to Forrest to die?
Okay. No, I was just calling because I haven't been listening to the show since the beginning, but I just heard some stuff right now, like MAGA stuff. You know, and I know you guys lean left, Democrat mostly, liberal.
Nope.
And,
way past.
Strike one, strike two.
Libertarian.
Nope. Strike three.
Libertarian.
Nope.
Okay. Well, then you don't belong to any party. Then you're independent.
Incorrect. You're still missing.
Liberals and Democrats would be significantly further to the right than either Jimmy or I.
In fact, you are closer to being a liberal or a Democrat than either Forrest and I are. If you are a Republican or you are MAGA.
Okay, so you guys were like against Biden then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys were? Okay. Wow.
I voted for Biden. I voted for Biden because amongst the two choices, Trump versus Biden, which those are the two choices, Biden was realistically the better choice, but I did not primary for Biden. I did not vote for Biden in any primaries, nor would I.
Okay. But in any election, since we only have basically Democrats and Republicans always running, you'd vote Democrat probably 100% of the time, right?
I would guess that's going to be a practical enough assumption that if it's a Republican versus a Democrat, I'm likely to opt for the Democrat, unless something crazy like, I don't know, the Democrat was best friends with a dude who had a pedophilia island. Then I might take a moral stance and vote for like Mitt Romney or some shit like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was just curious because sometimes, you know, it seems like, the Democrats they're always right on everything, but I don't agree that they're right on everything.
I don't believe they're right
I
on
don't-
much.
Yeah.
Okay.
They kind of say it's
So what do you
literally
think
the
about
same.
Republicans?
It's this Democrats are the same corporate capitalists, except they just put a pride flag around things and act like they care until they don't have to anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
what does
so
it
what
mean
is
to
it-
be right? To say you're on the side of queer people or to support queer people? To say you're on the side of
Right.
healthcare or to actually deliver healthcare? Like they say a lot of flowery and nice things, but bruh, I don't fucking give a shit about what they say. I care about what they do. How old are you, Lazaro?
Oh,
Lazaro? I don't remember how you said to say it.
I'm 54.
Did you vote in 2024?
Nope. No, I didn't vote.
What about 20?
Not this. No. I didn't vote.
16?
Why didn't you vote?
Yeah.
Who'd you vote for in 2016?
I don't know. Yeah, 2016. Yeah. Actually, I didn't
Trump?
vote. I haven't been able to vote. I'm not a U.S. citizen at the moment.
Oh.
Mm.
Well, I've been
yeah,
told that
that's
doesn't
one.
matter, and you could be able to. You could vote 6 times.
Right.
That's what Fox
That's
News
not
tells
true,
me.
man. That's BS. No,
Oh,
that's
weird.
Not true. That's not true.
Why would? Are you saying Fox News lied?
Yes.
I just don't know if
Who
you're going to
could
be
have
able to
seen
find
it coming?
evidence.
Who
To
could have
support
known
that.
that?
I don't know if that's. We weren't trying to get
I
this
mean,
controversial.
You can vote if you want to, but if you want to go to jail,
Yeah.
you know,
Hey,
if you want to risk
it's
going to
you know
jail.
what? 3 hots and a cot. That's better than the housing market today.
That's a wild thing to say.
Anyways, I have this question.
I wanted to
have
pull in this
comment for you guys.
economy.
Who would you
Since I've been
vote
a-
for right now, though? In 2024, who would you have voted for? Trump or Hillary, if you could have voted?
In 2024, before.
Sorry, Trump
maybe a
or
few months
Harris?
back- Oh, okay. It's kind of hard, but I would
Is
say
it?
I would being a Christian, I would have leaned towards Trump a little bit because of the right stuff. But after,
What's
Because of the
after
right
hearing
stuff?
a bunch of stuff. Well,
What's
because
Christian
of,
about
you
Trump?
know, nothing. I mean, not much. I mean, honestly, not much.
So,
Okay, what's
Um,
anti-Christian
and a lot-
about
what's-
Harris? Harris is a practicing
Or-
Christian, goes to church a lot. Trump doesn't. So what's anti-Christian about Harris?
I don't know. I think it's all this rah with Trump. You know, like I think everybody went with Trump because, you know, hey, this guy, he pulls no punches. He says what he feels. You know.
Yeah, so do
he
babies.
stands up
Right,
to-
what- Well, I said,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be better to have someone who says what they think?
Sure. And a lot of people,
Right.
like even myself and other people, you know, they kind of stood behind Trump. But these past 6 months or so, things have changed, man. Because I don't know, this guy is acting kind of weird
Because
now.
he's doing all of the evil shit that he said that he was going to be doing for years and years.
I always like hearing when it's
What-
like, none of us saw it coming. Oh, it's like, if only
Yeah,
we had
it's-
been fucking telling you it was going to be this
Right.
way.
Well,
And
there's
also
a lot of lies,
he
like-
has been fucking telling you it's going to be this way.
Yeah, all we told you was to believe him.
Well, it's because, like, for example, here I live here on the border, right across Mexico's right there, like it's like 3 blocks away from where I'm at right now. And when they
Okay.
were saying there's millions of people coming, I never saw millions. I mean, the Highway 57 passes right through here, and it's a major highway. It goes straight into Mexico. And yes, we do have traffic here, but I never saw those numbers or people, that kind of stuff that was going on. There was.
Are you here on a visa or what are you here on?
No, I'm a permanent resident.
Oh,
Okay.
you
I'm
don't
here
have
legally.
citizenship yet. Okay.
No,
Uh,
but and I don't know why I should have become a citizen. I've been living here since I was 2 years old.
do you believe
You know,
it should be easier for you to become a citizen or harder for you to become a citizen?
For me, well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it should be easy. I
Cool.
graduated
Do you think
high
it should be
school, went to college
easier?
here.
for a person who wants to work in America to come here and get a work permit, or harder than it is right now?
I think it should be easier if they can prove they're just here to work and just work hard and be productive.
Sure. Well, not just here to work. How about like you're a family member and a part of a support system of somebody who's here to work? Should they be allowed here? Or do you only bring people in, like make America a prison camp for its workers? You get no like outside comforts. You don't get your family and stuff to come with you.
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of like a difficult question. Basically, you're saying
no,
then anybody can come in, allow everybody to come in.
Allow people who are here to work, vet them, make sure that they didn't commit felony level offenses in other countries, right. And then pretty much from there. Like, what are you going to do while you're here? What career or path? What thing are you trying to do here? Why are you trying to be here? You could have people sponsor people, but once you get to there, sure, let everybody in.
Well,
and then people like you give a quick path. Sorry, what was that?
No, I was going to say, I hear a lot of people crying, whining about, I'm getting sent back and blah 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 and this and that. Well, my father, who passed away recently, he came here illegally. He crossed over here illegally. Was working in Illinois. Him and some other people, relatives of his, and the ICE. Well, back then it wasn't ICE, the Border Patrol, whatever. It was back in the 60s. They got caught. They were working at a Chrysler plant, and they got put on a plane, processed or whatever. They got shipped to El Paso. He's told me the whole story several times. They were held there like for 30 or 40 days in a kind of like a prison or whatever, a holding cell, while they got their papers processed. And they got deported. My dad, they got deported to Ciudad Juarez, which is across from Mexico, which is like, I don't know, almost 1,000 miles from where he actually lived. And then he went back and somehow got his papers together in order and everything. And, he got his green card and was able to come back legally. So, I mean, this has been happening forever. It's not something that just occurred now. But I think people nowadays cry too much. I think, hey, man, if you get deported, you didn't cry about it. You just say, hey, I got caught. I was a wetback. I went and did it the right way. And then he brought
here's the deal, man.
He brought his wife.
Everything you're saying, Lazaro, is like an anecdote of like, well, he just took it in stride and had a backup plan, and that's all great. But a lot of people don't have a backup plan. They're here to survive. And all I ever did to deserve to be here and earn work, like this is my place. I deserve it. You can't deport me. I am America. Was my dad came and my mom, which is fucked up in the first place. And that's it. That's how I earned my way. He was here to work.
Especially.
And you're like, and it wasn't a big deal. I got caught. Like, no, it is a big deal. That's shitty.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering the fact that like they are now allowed to racially profile people. They can grab people and arrest them because of their skin color, because they're not speaking English at the time, because of where they're working. If they're working in landscaping or construction or any other stereotypical Mexican job, they can be rounded up. And as of right now, you said you live in Texas. There are about 17,500 detainees just in Texas alone. Around the country, we have about 65,000 of them. 73.6% of people in ICE detention right now don't even have a criminal record. Trump was talking about how he's going to go over the worst of the worst. He's literally just going after anyone who even might be Mexican. That is the target. Right. And these people are being deported, as you talked about, to places where they've never even fucking been. People are being deported to Uganda. People are being deported to El Salvador. People are being sent to CCOT, an anti-terrorism prison, where they are being tortured, oftentimes to death. We have reports coming out of CCOT now of them talking about how they fucking keep these people up all night, beating the hell out of them, knocking their teeth out, psychological torture, sexual torture, physical torture. Like, that's what's happening to fucking someone's abuelita who just wanted to fucking get an easy job down the road, who just wanted to make enough money to scrape by, who pays taxes, pays into the system that she cannot benefit from. who came here just looking to get away from violence and is looking to chase the American dream that, as Jimmy said, we earned by being crapped out on this soil. What's wrong with that? What is the problem with that makes it okay for tens of thousands of people, almost all of them innocent people, to be rounded up by racial profiling and shipped off to places where they're going to be tortured and beaten?
And that is why a lot of people are discouraged with Trump. That is why
this is what he said he was going to do.
November.
How is this a surprise? This is what he talked about.
This is what he tried to do in his first term. I don't understand what you mean when you were saying, like, back then I would have voted for. What was appealing about Trump in 2024? What was he saying that you did like?
Well, I mean, the same thing that everyone else talks about Trump. Then he says he was gonna drill and lower lower gas price, oil prices, and give respect to the United States all over the world, and blah blah blah. All that stuff that he said. It's kind of like
went so well in his first term.
Kind of like
I was going to say in his first term, during his first term, you have clips of the fucking UN laughing out loud at him, and so like I don't know what you're talking about. Or he's going to get respect all over the world. And not to mention the fact that he talked about how he's going to bring prices down and everything. It was through tariffs. He said that over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And everybody who knew the first thing about economics said, hey, that doesn't fucking work. It's going to do the opposite. That's going to drive prices up. That's going to hurt Americans. And then he did it. And now, as part of the relief package to bring prices down, he's reducing some tariffs. Why? If they help with price lowering so much, would we be taking them away?
Yeah.
It's just weird to hear people say this is like what worked on them, when it's like, so basically in high school and middle school, it starts in middle school, when all your guy friends start talking about how ginormous their dicks are. And you're sitting there going like, I believed him. I believed that he was packing a kielbasa. I believed that my friend who was 5'2" and his voice had not yet cracked was packing 11 inches. My bad. Like, yeah, man. So I don't know, man. It's weird to have somebody calling to be like, you shouldn't just trust that the Democrats are right, when I'm like, my man, my guy, who did you trust?
Yeah.
Okay. This is my last comment on that, on the immigration thing. Back when the United States was formed, and the United States began, and we had the Statue of Liberty, and give me all your sick, and give me all this, and all these immigrants came in, and the immigrants built. I understand, I'm an immigrant myself. All the immigrants came in and built America. It's true. Nobody's going to deny that. But the thing is that this is not the America of the 1700s. Now America is an established country. Well, yeah.
Yeah, now people get to be now people get to be immigrants voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, America can pick and choose what immigrants they want. I don't want that guy.
Why?
Is it your assertion that the sentiment of the Statue of Liberty is a sentiment from the 1700s, and that only applied to then? And that, like, as the Industrial Revolution began, as more people were here after slavery and everything, the sentiment of the Statue of Liberty no longer applied, post-revolution?
I believe so. It's like when you guys talk about the Bible and you say some of the stuff.
What year would you say was the last year that
people back then?
What year would you say was the last year? What year would you say the last year of the, because it sounds like you're saying like basically once the revolution happens, it's pretty much right after then, 1776. So what are you saying, by like year 1800 is when the sentiment of the Statue of Liberty no longer applied?
I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what year or what era or whatever, but as a country, as a government.
Would it be before or after the Civil War? Would it be before or after the Civil War that the Statue of Liberty sentiment would pretty much be redone?
I think after the civil rights movement, that not that far away.
Wait.
From where we're at
Okay, so
today.
you went from 1770 back in 1776, the Statue of Liberty, which, just so you know, you were
It was
100 years
1884.
early.
It was 1884. I was waiting to say
100
it.
years early.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah, like
That's an expired sentiment, and now you're wanting to go with the 50s through the 80s, like of this
not
century.
I mean,
You said the civil rights movement.
I mean, well, I mean, yeah. Once when the blacks were freed during the Civil War. I mean, it doesn't mean just because they were freed that things went great for them. I mean, we understand that there was, there was still discrimination and up to date.
They were,
but I'm just saying,
they were freed
United
20
States
years prior to that, so by 1884, we're still super all about immigration.
Right. Well, I mean, immigrants, the United States, we need certain immigrants, like maybe we need doctors or scientists, but why do we need people that just do manual labor, for example?
Why do we need people who do manual labor?
We have a lot of people in our country
I have
that
to
can
answer
do manual
that?
labor.
Right, and we have a shortage of them.
No.
We have a shortage of people doing
sure.
manual labor.
Well, why do you think that is?
Because farmers are literally reporting they do not have enough labor. Like the people who own the companies and exploit, in many cases, these laborers are lamenting their lack of laborers. And by the way, as soon as those illegal immigrant jobs opened up, you know who didn't go apply for them? American citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, unemployment is now going up.
Right. If you're going to pay somebody $12 an hour to do manual labor in some field, I mean, that's hard to live. You can't live on that. I mean,
so what you're saying is Americans aren't going to do those jobs?
Well, not if you're going to support your family. If you have 2 kids, are you going to do that with $12 an hour, $13 an hour? Can't do that.
Yeah, and these immigrants are making less than that and working their asses off.
Yeah.
And we are now rounding them up and treating them like criminals.
For basically supporting our economy, despite the fact the solution is legalizing them and giving them worker protections. By the way, some illegal immigrants are making more. There are illegal immigrants who make more money in like construction because they have access to TINs and and other social security numbers, and they are making decent wages. And you know what happens when they lose their jobs because ICE is around? Their job, literally, construction shortages. Again, citizens are not going and asking to fill those jobs. Certainly not down here in Texas. It is November 21st, and I went inside today because it was too hot. And it rained earlier today. And I went inside, and I'm just bringing up that a lot of Americans have my level of heat management, my level of heat resistance. Okay? We are far too used to our air conditioners. I know I am, and they're not picking up those jobs. Like, it's so weird to have a person who's here legally, is apparently a DACA kid, right? Right, Lazaro? You'd be...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're still sitting here and going like, Donald Trump, my guy who fucked me in his first term with the DACA shit, I still don't have citizenship, despite the fact that presumably it sounds like you work hard. I've actually earned a reason to be here. But you know who shouldn't be able to come here? People who are fleeing other countries, people who need asylum, people who need... It's the wildest thing. And it's this like transfer fear where like, if we let Mexicans in, what if we end up like Europe? But in Europe, they're all afraid of Muslims. Y'all are a bunch of Christians. Like, Americans should be stoked to have Mexicans in because Mexico's so goddamn excessively Christian. And yet, you and I know, Lazaro, you and I know what Donald Trump's issue actually is, what MAGA's issue actually is. And yet you would have voted for him, even though, and I'm going to make an assumption, maybe it'll be slightly racist to do so, but I have a feeling that when you look in the mirror, the light is reflecting off of your skin less than mine.
No, actually, no. Actually, I'm actually about as white as you are, because
Oh
my
well,
great grandmother,
that makes
my great grandmother's from Schertz.
yeah.
She was born in Schertz, Texas.
Would you call
She's a
yourself
white. She was a
passing
white.
white?
She was a white.
Would you call yourself passing white?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
people
All right.
mistake me for being a gringo. Gringo.
I gotta say,
Because I
some
have three
things are starting
knives
to make
and blonde
sense.
hair.
Some things are starting to make sense.
Yeah, but that's
This
not why
adds
I
up
voted
more,
for
at
Trump.
least.
I mean, I would have voted for Mike Kerr. But anyways, I mean, last thing is, I enjoy hearing you guys, Matt and everybody, discussing Christianity and religion, because as I've listened to for a couple of years now, I've heard maybe a couple of theists go in there and say some good stuff, kind of, but I haven't heard anybody not even kind of come close to winning a debate there with you guys.
So what's the best reason you believe in God? Just start with your best. We don't got to go through all the other ones. Best reason. And anybody who wants to present that, you can call now, 720 if you're on vertical. I think it's right here. Oh, no, wait. Yeah. I accidentally got put on top. 720-619-2288. Go get it.
I guess it's the best reason is because it's hard to say, but when you're a kid, and I'm pretty sure you guys have all gone through this, those have been theists. When you're a kid, you're at home and you've been taught by your parents, and you're taught the fear of God. There's a God, and He watches you, and He sees everything you do. And then you kind of wave it off. I was a Catholic, just kind of wave it off. Don't think about it too much. But as you get older, you kind of go through some, I guess you kind of grow a little bit. I mean, but you kind of understand a little bit more about God, or what they say about God, and what He means, that you're a sinner. There's a heaven, and there's a place called hell where you get shipped to if you deny.
So just so you know, I'm waiting for the good argument, because so far someone could justify why as an adult they picked Santa back up with your same type of reasoning. Yeah. I learned about it as a kid. He's always watching. If you don't do good, he's going to give you bad things, good things. You'll get presents. When I grew up, I realized that's a little more profound. He's trying to make sure that we're on the right path. You start to learn a little bit. But if I say Santa Claus, you go, obviously that's dumb. So what's the good argument that He exists? Not that Christians exist, not that Christianity exists, not that your parents exist. What's the good reason that only a Christian can use and a Muslim couldn't use, for example?
They won't. I mean, it's like they're not gonna. I mean, if you argue with, for example, I forgot his name, that dude that's supposedly the best one, used to debate Christopher Hitchens all the time. I forgot his name right now. I'm pretty sure you guys know who he is. He debated him several times, and the real smart apologist or whatever. He'll give you the teleological argument, the argument from design, and Willie. Yeah, that guy. So I mean, if those are the guys, that's how they argue. I mean, the normal people like me, and when I mean normal, I mean lay people, right? We're not going to argue like that. There's no way. That's why other people that call into your show, they're going to argue the way I argue. They're going to say, well, God, they taught me about God. And
Lazaro, do you hope that Muslims,
I have this speech.
Do you hope that if Muslims have bad reasons for believing in Allah, that they'll stop believing in Allah because of the way that might affect the lives of other people?
I'm sorry, go ahead and repeat that.
Do you hope that if a Muslim believes in Allah for bad reasons, that they will stop to believe in Allah because that their belief in Allah may affect other people negatively?
Well, if you mean negatively, that it causes hurt to other people, and I'm talking not emotional, if they're actually hurting people, like physically or something. Yeah.
Wait. So non-physical hurt is acceptable, though? Let's say it's not physical. Let's say it's you just raise your daughter to be ashamed of her body and make her cover herself head to toe except for the eyes. and you basically make her feel like she's a disgusting object, only useful as an extension of a man. But you never hit her. You never do anything bad to her physically. You would say that that's acceptable because you didn't physically hurt. You don't mind if that guy doesn't change?
Well, I mean, I'm not part of that culture, so I don't know how that little girl he feels. Does she feel like what you just said, described right now? Is that the way she feels, or she feels that what she belongs in what she belongs to? I mean, is that
there's an incredible
life,
thing, Lazaro, that like there are people who you can tell are usually a little bit more intellectually honest in their day to day. And then as soon as you start challenging their religion, things that you know that they would have no problem saying to other people from church, like, oh my gosh, Muslims, they got to stop with the Muslim shit, and Mormons too, and Baptists and the other 90 types of Christians. Yeah. But then when an atheist that's like, okay, but do you have a better reason to believe than they do? It's like, well, but do they even need a better reason? I don't know. Like, if that's their belief and their culture and they're only hurting them emotionally, and do I even know if they're hurting them emotionally? Lazaro, grow the fuck up and be an adult and be truthful with me. You are 54 fucking years old. You are almost old enough to be my dad, and you are talking to me like, just be real with me, man. Just be fucking honest.
Okay, then all right. Well, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong to control another person in that matter.
And how about it's wrong to believe in things for bad reasons? Because if you do believe in things for bad reasons, you may be blinded to the negative consequences of those bad reasons because you have that belief. And so how about, Lazaro, if it is bad for other people to believe on a bad foundation, let's call it faith. Mm-hmm. If it is bad for people to believe things based on faith because your faith may blind you to the way you are harming other people, if that's not okay for them to do, it's not okay for you.
Right. How am I, as a theist, how am I harming people? I don't raise my kids that way. I didn't raise them that way. I don't try to hurt other people. I don't try to impose my belief on other people. Yeah.
Only after you deconstruct will you even know the answer to that question, because I thought when I was a Mormon, I was only doing good for everybody. The evil that I was doing, I was totally unaware of and in denial of until I had deconstructed from what was an untrue
what evil
belief.
Were you doing?
Sure, I was promoting modesty culture. I was promoting 10 different levels of misogyny and patriarchy. I was promoting anti-queer sentiments, which in a lot of the cases, I thought I was just doing like, no, look, do what you want to do behind your closed doors. Just don't call it marriage or, whatever you believe. The Bible says we're supposed to do with this, but, in America, you get to do whatever, and using and being just a shitty person. Also, where I would contribute my money, paying through the Mormon Church, which is a queer hate group, as well as a misogynistic organization.
But
what do you mean? Was that me?
Are you?
I wasn't possessed.
Of course, that was him. What are you talking about?
Okay.
I wasn't possessed.
All right, well, that was you.
He was passing on the beliefs that he thought were good, the things that he didn't even think were religious, and he was also contributing to an organization that was doing those things. So if you, Lazaro, if you donate to your church and you might be a good guy, that church is then going to turn their back on a gay couple who wants to get married there and hurt them emotionally or literally. You are going to say to the next person, like, that girl shouldn't dress that way. That's not very that's not, and you are passing on that same kind of thing. You might tell somebody, God loves you, Jesus loves you, and not hear how that sounds to somebody who's outside of your religion, who hears that as, hey, you're a fucking disgusting, wicked sinner and you deserve to burn in hell. But if you join my book club, maybe you'll be good enough not to be tortured. And that's fucking insulting, and it really hurts their feelings, especially if they're gay or trans or an atheist or some sort of outsider to what has been Christianity in this country for a long time. By you living your day-to-day life, there's almost certainly some little heuristic, some little cultural norms that you don't even pay attention to that are deeply rooted in a very painful Christian culture. That's all Jimmy's trying to point out to you, is you don't even realize how much. I, as an atheist, haven't believed in gods for a long time. I started changing my language to take God out of what I said. Every time I said, oh my God, I'd say, oh my glob, or God damn it, or anything like that. I would just try to note, and I was shocked at how difficult it was to do because of how often I talked about God without even thinking about it, because that's just the heuristics, that's the language, that's the doxa that I live in. So it's the same for you. Christianity is some horrible, horrible fucking track record of abuse and pain and shame. It has a lot to be sorry for. And you're a part of that, whether you think that you're not pushing it on people or not.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying I don't understand. And that's why, for example, let's say somebody's an alcoholic, right? Do you think the Christian encourages somebody to continue being an alcoholic, or they encourage that person to leave and try to help him get rid of the alcoholism in his life?
Lazaro,
there are no secular ways to do that, right?
I'm asking a question.
Lazaro, did you know that the Nazis had? Lazaro, did you know that the Nazis had alcohol recovery programs because Hitler was not fond of alcohol?
I don't care about Hitler, honestly.
No.
I'm asking you about
answer the question.
Christianity.
There's a reason I'm asking you this, because I'm trying to show you the type of justification you're doing. You're basically saying, here's a good thing, therefore why throw away the bad thing if there's a good thing? There were alcohol recovery programs there are alcohol recovery programs under Nazi Germany. And you know what? It was still worth getting rid of Nazi Germany. So just because there's a good thing doesn't eliminate the bad thing. So, by the way, if you want the longer, even if you were to come through with us and we were like, okay, do you do this? Do you do this? And you told all the truth and we couldn't find a single actual thing we think you're doing bad, which obviously would be easy since you supported Trump, despite not voting for him, you support it. It wouldn't be hard. But let's say we did
because it was Christian. That's what you said at the beginning, by the way. You said it's a Christian thing to support Trump.
Right. If you think Christianity is more compatible with Trump, then, I mean, obviously we've already established why Christianity is a problem in your life. But if I couldn't come up with any of that, there's a 20-minute presentation on this channel called There's No Such Thing as Harmless Faith by me, if you want to watch the whole thing, because even if at the foundation, all you have is faith, but no bad actions, you otherwise live like even a secular humanist would live, you still have accepted a foundation that is bad. And therefore, if somebody else has a negative life filled with evils built on faith, and you say, you're not allowed to do that, and they say, I can because of my faith, you no longer have a position of opposition, because whether something is positive or negative doesn't make it true. Cancer exists. That's negative. It's not false because it's negative, right? And I have an 11-inch kielbasa isn't true because it would be positive. Okay, it's chewed up like a kielbasa, but it's not true. Okay, so the whether something is negative or positive doesn't affect truth. So if you're allowed to believe pleasant things based on faith, you have no recourse when somebody, this is why I'm against astrology. Astrology is much more harmful than that basis, but it is still harmful. I'm against paganism, Wiccanism. I'm against all forms of alternative faith-based beliefs, because at its very basis, you will never be able to counter somebody who is who has a faith-based belief just because those faith-based beliefs are negative.
Okay, I understand everything you're saying. I'm just saying this country, the United States, is some say Christian nation, whatever.
It's not.
We can't say there's a lot of churches here. Okay, we can't say that. There's a ton of churches in the United States, and a lot of people, and a lot more people believe in God than do not believe in God. Whether they follow God like some people think they should, or as closely as they should, or maybe they just go to church once a year. Who cares? But the thing is that they do believe in God. I mean, I don't see the country killing itself, destroying itself because they believe in God. I mean,
then you are unfamiliar with the history of you're unfamiliar with the
That-
history of our country then.
I was going to say they don't destroy themselves. They destroy Native Americans. They destroy black people. They destroy Mexicans. They destroy South Americans of all stripes.
But
They
also
destroy Africans of all
themselves.
stripes.
The
And also
Confederacy
themselves.
was a Christian. The Confederacy was a Christian
That's true.
movement.
That is true.
Right? Like
they specifically said in their Articles of Secession in Texas, where you live, Lazaro, the Articles of Secession say, or Declaration, pardon me, the Declaration of Secession from Texas says that the enslavement of black people is the Christian tradition and the will of God, and that all good Christian nations would observe it. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
they also deny themselves
And
their
also-
own rights. They vote against their own well-being. We have shitty healthcare in America compared to everybody else who, granted, rich people in America have the best healthcare. That's where the line America has the best healthcare comes from.
Yeah.
Everybody else has fucking dog shit compared to the other developed nations because the Christian evangelicals mostly vote Republican who vote against like treating laborers good, who vote against workers' rights. We're not talking about the boogeyman they all try to pretend exists. These people who just want to steal healthcare from everybody and live and be lazy and all that sort of stuff. The non-lazy people are getting shit healthcare too.
That's what I was asking you at the beginning, Lazaro. I asked you, like, what about Trump as Christian? Because Jesus said, I've read Jesus's whole thing. It was all about giving out free healthcare. He healed the sick, never healed the sick as long as they paid their copay, right? He was all about giving out free food to people and making sure that everybody ate. He welcomed the stranger. He has several things in there about immigrants and strangers in your land being welcomed and treated as your own. He helps the poor. He surrounds himself with sinners. He helps. His best friend is a prostitute. Like, all of this is just him reaching down to the dregs of society and lifting those people up. And the only people that he is consistently antagonistic towards are money lenders and the very rich and powerful. It's easier to pass a camel through the eye of a needle than the rich person to go into heaven. And now you've got a fucking billionaire in office. A lot of our people in Congress are millionaires or billionaires. Big corporations can buy elections and pass laws. And we're all arguing over whether or not poor people should be allowed to eat, or if the government's plan for you is you just die if you don't have enough money. Not very Christ-like,
by the way,
dude.
The craziest shit too there, and then I'm going to let you, Lazaro, I'll let you have your last word after this. The craziest shit there too is we are right now arguing to try and get the solutions that we needed 50 years ago. And if we get them all today, 10 years from now, we'll still be way fucking behind as AI destroys our economy, as robots destroy our economy, because it will not. The common misconception is that it takes yes, AI and robots will be able to replace everybody. They'll have destroyed our country as soon as they replace 10%. Like, that's all it's going to take. That is a ginormous upset, and then it will just snowball from there. Go ahead, Lazaro, make your final points, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, Trump, I don't think he's Christian, but he did show some Christian Christian characteristics. He did hang out with prostitutes. That was the joke I was going to say.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
For the record, I'm not like almost everybody else on the line. I don't think Donald Trump is Christ-like. I do believe Donald Trump is a practicing Christian. I actually think it's weird that so many atheists think that he doesn't believe in God and Jesus.
You know why most people, I mean, there could be many reasons, but I think the main reason that most Christians vote Republican, even because of the fact that Republicans say, I'm pro-life, right? And anybody that's pro-life to the Christian is, I got to vote for that guy. And if somebody says, I am pro-choice, they're going to say, nah, man, I can't vote for that dude. I don't care. He's really good. It's just, he's for abortion. He's for killing kids, and I just can't.
Right. Something that Jesus never talked about, and the Bible has the exact opposite stance on, is what all the Christians are hard lines about. You're absolutely right.
Stay listening, Lazaro, because we're not going to do it with you because we've already been 40 minutes on, but I'm pretty sure we have an abortion call waiting on hold. So, because you are 100%, the staking on abortion's the wildest thing. Anyway, thanks, Lazaro.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Sure.
It's been pleasant, Lazaro. Good talking to you.
I wasn't going to lie, but I don't enjoy
He was
job.
nice. He was nice.
was better than a lot of people, but did I have a good time? No. Hey, I see you in chat. You make a list of the good hosts, and I'm explicitly not on it. Boy, it's gonna bum y'all out when you find out there wouldn't have been a show tonight if it weren't for this host.
I was supposed to be working.
Yeah, me too.
I'm supposed to be putting out a video.
As opposed to this.
Yeah, I know, right?
I see what you think about this job now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew from New Jersey's been on hold this whole time, people. It's just a matter of if we run out of calls, will we take them? Now, I did see one person paid $50 saying to take them, so I'm thinking about it. But
that's my favorite one so far. That's my favorite super chat of the show. That person is a chaos demon just like me, and I love that.
You're going to need some more hashtag banders. Hey, MAGA, can we get the name tag up here for the horizontal so they can see again? If you're in vertical, either one. So it's going to be like there. Wait, for me, it's, I think this lines up perfectly on both streams. 720-619-2288, 720-619-2288. If you would like to call in and tell us why we're wrong about MAGA, why we're wrong about Christianity, we're atheists, we're leftists, call in and tell us why we're wrong. We just had a lengthy conversation. Clearly we'll listen. We're going to have some things to say. I got a lot of brave keyboard warriors over on Threads. None of them calling in. All these, why did Biden release the files? Who's going to be the first caller to call in? Who's going to be?
I do want to talk about the precisely files, that'd be a lot of fun.
Defend Donald. Who can call in and tell us why Trump obstructed the release of the files? Who can call in and tell us? I want to know. How does it hang? 11-inch kielbasa. Yo, butt cheeks is warm. That's in a Tenacious D reference.
I really want to take call number 12.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just because I want to ask questions.
Jordan in California. You didn't really put you put like labels of what you are, but I don't have in here.
By that.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, Jordan in California, you are on the line with Jimmy and Forrest. Jordan, what?
So, I don't know. What's up?
You tell me. You called in for something, right?
I mean, I guess you guys are leftists. That's cool. I'm an independent.
I don't know if you're a theist.
Let's talk about abortion, I guess, because I'm pretty pro-life.
Are you a theist or an atheist?
Okay. Can I?
I'm
really quickly.
I'm probably yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Just really quickly before you answer any more questions, I have here on the call screen it says you don't believe in pronouns.
Wait, who doesn't believe in pronouns, Jordan?
No, I mean I don't believe in this. This thing created where you have to like.
Jordan, sorry, the phone line. I think the phone line got messed up. Who doesn't believe in pronouns?
I just want to be clear. If you don't believe in pronouns, for the rest of the call, every time you use a pronoun, you're going to hear this sound.
No, I mean I believe in pronouns in English and grammar, but I don't believe in like pronouns the way you guys.
Why? What? Like, wait, how do we believe in pronouns, Jordan? How do I believe in pronouns?
This is how okay, so you guys are like when you meet a new person,
okay, stop.
You have to state your pronoun.
Forrest, you have to stop. Hang on. Forrest, you have to stop. Okay.
I don't want to.
We're back with Jordan.
Because you guys are liberal. Well, I'm assuming, but
I'm not a liberal. No, you are incorrect. I'm not a liberal. No. However, I do use the pronouns which people wish to identify with. Generally, those are he or she, they, them, or rather he, him, they, them, she, her. You don't believe what?
I don't believe that. I believe like you're born where you're born.
You see what I'm talking about? This is why the buzzer is fun.
So what pronouns would you use to describe me?
I'm assuming you're a guy.
Why?
Because
also a guy isn't pronouns. Just to be clear.
Because of what? My voice. So because I'm presenting, because I'm presenting as a guy, and I'm sounding like a guy, you'll call me he, him.
Yeah.
Interesting. How do you know I was born a boy? What if I wasn't?
Well, the chances of that are pretty rare, so I don't.
Why?
It's very rare. So
I don't know. Literally, just on Threads, somebody took a picture of me and posted it, and basically said, "Women look bad with beards." Do you think I look bad with a beard? Do you think I would look like
Sorry,
a
repeat that
prettier
again?
woman if I? Do you think I would look like a prettier woman if I shaved my beard?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I just want to talk about abortion. You know.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there, Jordan. I do want to check one thing real quick because I know that you know about the manosphere. Men, obviously, and I'm not even opposed to this. This concept of men should be trying to be higher value men. We should just describe what that is. Trying to be a little bit manlier. I'm curious as we look at the manosphere. Who would you say of these three is the most manly? Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan, or Andrew Tate? Which one is the manliest of those three?
Definitely not
Those
Ben
are four
Shapiro. He's a little weasel. But
okay, so that's the manliest. Now we've got Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan.
Not Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson has fallen. He's been crying a lot on stream or on videos.
Yeah,
so
he's fallen.
Well, it turns out his transphobia may have been more like black mold infecting his brain for the last 15 years. He's in the hospital because it turned out he's probably gone crazy from the neurological symptoms of black mold infection. So now we're down to Jordan Peterson, or rather Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan. Which one of them is manlier?
Okay, so let me think.
Do you already know where I'm going with this, Forrest?
Yeah.
Because my definition,
Okay,
a real man
That's
is,
fun.
you have kids, you take care of your life, you're stable.
Okay,
And,
so probably Joe Rogan there, right?
Yeah, Joe Rogan is definitely more manly, probably.
All right, so to be clear, least manly to most manly, you would go Ben Shapiro, then Jordan Peterson, then you would go Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan, right? That would be the order of least manly to most manly.
Back in the day, I'll probably put Jordan Peterson number 2, but not anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
That's also more interesting.
Great. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for acknowledging two things. One, Jordan Peterson is not the same level of man as he used to be. Therefore, the concept of being a man is a gender is a fluid concept. How much of a man you can be can literally change. And thank you for acknowledging that it doesn't have to do with what you were born. That you can actually have levels of being a man. No, Jordan, you don't get to take it back. You acknowledge that gender is a spectrum. Now, listen, you haven't acknowledged that you can go from the male side of the spectrum to the female side of the spectrum. But you literally sat here and acknowledged that gender is a spectrum and an individual's relationship to it is fluid. Yes, you did.
This is bullshit. That is not what I said. You're putting words in my mouth.
Yes, it is, Jordan.
That's not what I said.
Jordan, it is.
You are still a man, but you are losing your purpose as a man. You're losing,
That's not what you said. That's not what you said. We were all here for the conversation.
That's fine.
Like Ben Shapiro, listen, Ben Shapiro, he's still a man, but he's a little feminine man. He's a little
right.
Woofy,
He's less of a man. He's less of a man than the other men whose masculine traits you value.
Man.
First of all, there's no such thing as biologically being a man. There's not even really a meaningful term as in biological man. Hey, guess what?
Yes, it does.
The opposite of biological, the opposite of biological isn't trans. It would be like robot, artificial.
Yeah.
Like
you're thinking of cisgender versus transgender. All transgender women are still biological women because they're not fucking robots.
I would love to talk about biology with Jordan. That sounds like a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to talk about abortion, but you guys.
I know because you knew if we did the trans thing,
it's funny
you'd find out that Jordan is out here preaching that gender is a spectrum.
Right, Jordan, I can tell you, as a biologist, I would love to talk to you about either trans people or abortion, because I think I would have a different take than you on both of these things.
Yeah, that's true. But can we talk about abortion? I mean, I don't know. I was really excited for abortion.
All right, now that we've all agreed that gender is a spectrum, we can move on to abortion.
Agree. I mean, you guys, we live in a free country. You guys could believe.
Yeah, you described it. You described the spectrum. You described that. That is what you said.
I also would be clear because we talked about manliness, and I don't think you know what a woman is, and so I would be difficult to get into that with you. But I would be happy to dig into abortion as long as
I do know what a woman is, but okay.
Okay, what's
a woman?
A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes.
Oh, I love
this.
Hey,
look at that. So just to be clear, you're saying that every single person who is a woman is someone with XX chromosomes, and there are no women without XX chromosomes, and there are no people without XX chromosomes who are women. Is that correct?
Oh no, there's definitely people with what's it called? I forgot. Like they have extra chromosomes or something messed up. I forgot what it's called, the word, but
You know what's funny though?
Okay, so then
I'm gonna let.
so then
I'm,
your definition.
do the bio in a second because this is. I feel like this funny thing has to be introduced first.
for the
Hey
most
Jordan.
part,
Hey Jordan.
the most-
Jordan.
for the most
Jordan.
part,
I'm gonna tell you
yeah,
this.
what's up?
Hang on. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm a man. Do you believe me?
Well, from your voice, probably, yeah.
Yeah, and you've seen me on screen, right? I've got a beard. Nice
Yeah.
masculine face. Right. So you believe me. You haven't checked my chromosomes. What are my chromosomes, Jordan?
Oh no, yeah. That's why.
What are my
I don't need to check-
chromosomes,
I don't
Jordan?
need to. Robin.
What are my chromosomes?
Well, you have a beard. Talking like a dude.
That's a chromosome.
All
Well,
things.
here's
None of these are
chromosome.
chromosomes.
I'm going to
Jordan.
assume-
Hey, Jordan, are you a man
What's
or a
up?
woman?
I'm a man.
And what are your chromosomes?
XY.
When did you get them
How do you
tested?
know?
When did you get
'cause
your
it says on my birth certificate, and I have a
No, it doesn't.
functional penis.
No, it doesn't. Excuse
And
me. No, it doesn't
I have
say
a
on your birth
functional- if you
certificate.
want-
Having a functional penis is
Yeah,
not
it does.
a sign of it.
Yeah, my-
How do you know
What do
what
you
your
mean?
chromosomes are? Have you ever gotten your chromosomes tested, or did a bunch of
Well, if I
people
could-
tell you what a man is, and because you associate that with XY, you assume, taking their word for it, that because you have those characteristics, that must mean you're a man.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I have a functional penis that works. And
That's
does
not what your
everything that a
girlfriend
normal
told me.
penis does. What?
What?
Well, I don't have one right now, but that's not the point. I have
A
a functional
penis?
penis that
This is my
works- that
point.
works.
I know.
That's what we're talking about. The whole
Hey,
thing.
Jordan,
That
none
was-
of the three of us have had our chromosomes mapped. Actually, Forrest might have because he's a fucking nerd. But you and I haven't. And the reason why we believe we're men is an
That's not
experience
true.
we
What do you
have of
mean,
being men and it making sense with our understanding of what men are. You literally don't know what your chromosomes are. You might have a good guess, and there
Yes,
might
I
even
do.
be high
They're XY. What do you
odds
mean?
that you're right. You
Oh
don't
my
know what
gosh,
you're
this
to
is-
say a man is somebody with XY chromosomes. You literally don't even know if
It's
you have
also
XY
not true.
chromosomes. You might have ovaries
Listen, I
up in your
do-
butt, my guy, and you don't even know it.
I
Mike.
do know what.
Forrest will
if I
confirm
could
that
get a
that's
word
where
in.
the ovaries
If I could
might
get a
be.
word in, I mean,
Yeah, that's the only place.
All right, you guys do the bio thing, Jordan. You've
If I could-
already lost this. Now you guys do the science side. I just wanted to
I
point out
didn't lose.
that
You just
you have no
interrupted me
idea
and
what
you
your
won't let me get a
chromosomes
word
are.
in.
What's
You
that?
won't let me get a word in.
I heard your
but-
girlfriend won't let you get something in either.
But can we
I'm
just,
just curious. Like
you
you
know,
gave
I
a
can't even get
bad
a word in.
definition. Do you want to try again?
Robin?
I said you gave a bad definition. Do you want to try again? Do you want to give a better definition?
Well, that's my definition. That's why
Okay,
I
but
think society has.
But you also admitted immediately that there are exceptions to that definition, right? And now I know what you're saying, Jimmy. I'm going to say it too. But hold on.
It's easy to explain those people with an extra chromosomes or whatever. I forgot.
I just want to make sure the
what it's
chat
called.
knows that Jordan just referred to it as his
I know what
definition.
you're-
Therefore, sex and gender
Yes.
are social constructs. Okay, just say it.
I was gonna do the same thing later, but anyway, I asked you for a definition, and a definition is usually something that you don't immediately have to say, except for all these other times where it doesn't happen, right? So, do you have a definition that actually works? One that we can actually reliably use to say this is
Well, you
always
guys are not going to believe in it.
every woman
I
is
mean,
this.
there's no point. You guys are not going to. You guys aren't. not going to believe in it, and you guys are free to believe what you want to believe. But
Well, no, I don't.
just
I don't believe
there's-
things. I'm a scientist, and I care about evidence. And so, I'm asking you
Yeah,
for a
and
good
that's-
actual definition.
of what a woman is and a man.
Yeah, you can start with either one. You start with woman; it's easier.
Well, no, I mean, I just told you, and I'm going to stick with it. It's my,
Yes,
a woman. A woman
Okay,
is
so-
an adult female with XX chromosomes.
Unless they are not. That's the end of the definition. Unless it isn't that, because there's plenty of women that don't fit that categorization that you would still call women, and there are plenty of people that don't fit that do fit that categorization that you might still also not call women. So like you just unless
No, I mean it
isn't
depends
that,
on the.
is
It
what it
depends.
is.
It depends on I forgot what it's called because I've seen this before. Like it depends on which genital works. You know, because it's impossible for like
Which
a
genital
vagina and a
works?
penis. Yeah, like you're talking about intersex people, right? Where they have like both body parts. I think.
Nope.
I didn't know
Oh,
genitals
I'm
were
not.
chromosomes.
We were talking about gender, not sex, because those are different things. I was just trying to
Well,
ask
no, I
you for
don't
your
think they're different.
definition.
I think they're the same. I think they're the same. Like,
Right. No,
I don't see a
I'm not surprised at all, Jordan. I'm not surprised at all to hear that you don't believe in science. I'm asking you for your definition of these things,
No, I do
so
believe in
that we
science.
can
I
then
do believe in
have a
science.
conversation about it. You do believe in science,
No, I do
except
believe
for
I do.
except for the fact that biology, anthropology, sociology, psychology, and biomedical sciences are all united in the academic consensus that sex and gender are different things, and they're not necessarily
No,
necessarily binary.
Are you saying that like scientists, for the most part, the majority, they believe what you believe or something?
Yep, that's why
In
I
the
say the
relevant
things I do,
fields of
because
science.
Okay,
be
so
because
clear.
this is the thing. This is what I was trained in as a biologist.
Let me get this straight. Most scientists, I'll fact check it. Maybe you guys are right. Believe that
I
gender
can do it for you right
and
now.
sex are not the same.
Let me get this gay.
Gender and sex are not
I can
the
do
same.
it right now.
Most scientists.
Yes, I
No,
can
I
do
Most
mean,
that for
scientists
you right
in the
now. if you like.
relevant fields. In the relevant fields, we have to clarify because y'all like to go and get chiropractors.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
biologists and scientists.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, I can. Jordan, I literally have like 5 or 6 biology textbooks from my own university experience and ones that I have taught out of that all explain the difference between sex and gender and how they're not binary and they're not necessarily congruent. I can also pull up the World Health Organization, who have their published stance on this as well. The best doctors and biologists in the world who are also on the same page as me. Yes. Would you like me to read from you a textbook? Would you like me to read from the World Health Organization? Or would you like me to explain it to you myself? Which would be easier for you? Or do you just want to take my word for it?
No, I mean, I fact checked it. Yeah, I guess the short answer is yes. Most biologists.
And how is ChatGPT this year?
I don't know, but that's not the point. I mean, I believe what I want to believe, and
I'm gonna get a drink.
I mean, we live in a free country, and I still love science. I think science is great, for research and stuff. But
right, and so that what you just said there is the whole crux of the thing. You believe what you want to believe. And when I said earlier you don't believe in science, and you quickly snap back, no, I do believe in science. No, you don't. You don't believe in science because you don't want to. You believe in science when it's convenient, when it fits your cultural narrative, when it fits your heuristics. Now that you are being presented with science that goes against what you're comfortable with, you just said, I'm just going to believe what I want to believe. So what's the point in continuing talking about it?
Well, no, because I just I see my eyes, and I see gender and sex as the same. I see a man is a man, and a woman is a woman.
Do you have any? Do you have any training?
A man can't become a woman, and a woman can't become a man. Because they're definitely different. Do
you have any training in biology and medicine and psychology and sociology and anthropology or anything like that?
No.
So do you think that your just casual experience throughout the course of your life is more or less important than like actual scientific studies into a topic?
Let me think.
Weird thing to think about.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I have a bunch of conspiracy theories about this, but I don't want to talk about that. But
no one's surprised by that either. Do you believe that Pluto orbits the sun?
Sorry, go again.
Do you believe that Pluto orbits the sun?
No.
You don't believe that Pluto orbits the sun. Do you believe that the Earth is a globe?
I believe the Earth is round. So yeah,
round like a disc or round like a ball?
Like a baseball, like a basketball.
Okay. Do you
Yeah,
believe that we've ever
I've
been to
listened to
space?
flat Earth theory, but I never got into it. You know, it doesn't make
Cool.
sense. Flat Earth.
Do you believe we've ever been to space?
I believe the moon landing was fake.
Ah, there we go. What about vaccines? What are
Yeah.
your thoughts about vaccines?
Um, it depends. I mean, some of it. Let me think. Vaccines.
Weird
I think
weird
they
thing to
save
think
lives.
about.
I think they save lives. They save lives. I'll say that. I think that's my simple take.
What about other planets? Do other planets orbit the sun? I'm thrown off by
Other
Pluto
planets.
right now.
Other planets. They do exist. I believe in other planets.
But not Pluto.
Wait, what?
I asked you if Pluto orbits the sun and you said no.
So I totally forgot about my planets. I'm not gonna lie.
Mercury, Venus, Earth,
Like I
Mars,
can't even,
Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus.
yeah. I was never into like, you know, space, the
Do
planet.
do those orbit the sun?
Why are we talking about space? Can we just talk about abortion?
Well, because I'm trying to ascertain like what things you believe in scientifically
Okay, how about
that you
JFK? How
maybe
about
haven't
JFK?
had direct experience with. Because your whole claim about sex and gender was, I understand that the majority of biologists all agree on this topic. However, I'm just going to believe whatever I want to believe because my day-to-day life, I just think this is what I'm seeing, regardless of the fact that you have no way of actually testing any of that. And so I'm curious, you've probably never observed any of these planets yourself. I know for sure you've never seen Pluto going around the sun because we've known for Pluto existing for less time than it takes for it to go around the sun. So, like, you haven't seen these other things, and yet you probably believe in them because they're obviously true. So, I'm curious why
Yeah.
it is that in this case, it's just your personal opinion rather than the expert opinion of experts in this
Okay.
field. And yet it sounds like this isn't the only case that you do that in. It's just kind of whatever feels right to you and whatever you think you have a good reason for, despite the fact that you have no training in any of these areas. And I'm willing to bet that most of your research is on your phone on the toilet.
Yeah, so for the gender and sex, why I believe they're the same. You know, I do. Let me try to think, like not get my words. I don't know. Like I just look at, you know, for centuries. I mean, you know, for centuries and centuries, you know, this has worked. You know, this is,
No, it hasn't.
you know,
Not
I
only
think
has
it
it
has. You
not
know,
worked scientifically, but not only has it not worked scientifically, but there are countless other cultures across time and space that have had totally different concepps of gender. You are talking
so
about
I believe in
only
European
your
culture.
familiar framework of it.
I believe in European culture because I think European culture is the best. You know, so I believe in European culture. I don't know about you guys.
You should
but,
move to Europe then.
You know,
You should move to Europe.
no, I want to stay in America because America has European roots and history. You know. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Our founding fathers, you know, they're European.
Oh,
Their
you
ethnicity was.
mean the colonizers who came here and steamrolled their way across the country and committed genocide and slaughtered all the other people while enslaving a bunch of other people. Those guys, that's the superior culture that you believe in.
Genocide? Didn't the Native Americans die from diseases?
Yo, so you don't think the Native Americans were the victims of genocide? Is that what I'm hearing now?
No, I mean, most of them died from diseases.
A lot of them. Who brought those diseases, Jordan?
You probably said the Europeans, but they didn't do it forcefully. They didn't
It was.
I mean, some of them
They didn't do it forcefully. You don't remember that time. You don't remember that time when Americans gave deliberately infected blankets to the Native Americans? They infected blankets with smallpox and gave them to kill them using biological warfare against innocent civilians. You don't remember that part?
Well, I don't know about that part, but you know, I'm definitely.
You should look it up and then
know,
decide whether or not you want to believe that, just like you decided whether or not you want to believe in things like gender and the moon landing.
Yeah, but you know, I'm just a big believer in European. You know.
Right. You've fallen prey to yet another kind of propaganda. Cool. All that I'm learning here is that you're not a critical thinker. You just believe whatever feels good for you.
Jordan, is Jordan defending? Did Jordan unironically say, "I believe in being European"? Is that what you just said?
No, I misspoken, but I believe in European culture and yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
what's your favorite European culture?
If you look at most of the philosophers and most of the items invented, most of them came from Europe. And I'm trying to think,
wonder why that is.
Food came from Europe. Like,
do you think that might have anything to do?
I like that he's going with food, and I like that he's going with food and inventions, which were invented a lot by immigrants.
Was invented in Germany, and
what was invented in Germany?
Most of things, not everything. I wouldn't say everything, but most things that are benefit and useful for today, and philosophers and all this stuff came from
Jordan.
Europe.
You can just say you think white people are the superior. Hey, Jordan, can we just skip it?
Really
Jordan, can we just skip? Can we just skip to you believe white people are superior to the other races?
No, I believe everybody's equal.
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do. I just believe some have better cultures.
Don't fucking lie.
I'm not lying.
Just some have better cultures. And specifically the white people have the better cultures.
What you literally just said is the whole point of social Darwinism, by the way.
Wait. It's not wrong to say, people think that's racist to say, but I disagree. That it's bad
because
to say
it is.
European culture is better than other cultures. Can we agree European culture is better than Indian culture? It's better than,
nope.
Colonizers are better than you're saying that colonizers by the way, Indian culture right now is an offshoot of Europe going in and destabilizing their country after colonizing it and stealing their food and shit. Why are we ignoring the European influence and culture and the fucking?
That was a while ago.
I just want to point out
India,
the whole thing
here.
It's all falling into place beautifully because we started out with you don't believe science when you don't want to. You don't believe in sex and gender. You don't believe in the moon landing. You don't believe in Pluto. You don't believe in science when it just doesn't fit your vibe. And now we're getting into European culture is superior. The culture of colonizers, the culture of cannibals, the culture of rapists.
I mean, that's just my view. That's just my taste.
What part of it is better? Do you think?
How did this come up?
Is the cannibalism better?
How did
is the cannibalism the good part or the colonization?
History of Europe is so good. You got the
history of Europe written by Europeans to really underplay all the genocide and all the. My brother, I'm probably whiter than you, Jordan, and I don't sit here and go, "Oh, this is a proud history." It's not.
Well, that's because you're not.
We're looking for a proud future. Not if you look back through European history and you go, you know who was based? These guys, these fucking fascists.
Right.
Nazism was a subtle jump from what was just mainstream back then. Are you fucking kidding me, dude, Jordan? I
want to know, you already
all of the houses.
You already ranked all of these men on your man spectrum. I'm curious to know, is it cannibalism, colonization, or incest? Which is the most proud European thing for you? Because those are three proud European traditions: cannibalism, incest, and colonization. Which one do you think is the best?
No, I'm pretty sure every continent has done incest and cannibalism, and
but not in their royalty. I mean, good gravy, dude.
We're still maintaining it. Right, yeah. UK getting their fucking shit rocked because one of the prince dated a brown girl.
Oh my God.
Not a fan of incest.
By the way,
I think incest is
she's fine as hell. But... Yeah.
All right, so we got incest down there. So you think that either cannibalism or colonization is better than incest?
He mentioned he doesn't have a girlfriend. Now I'm starting to put the pieces together. His sister broke his heart.
Incest and cannibalism, they're both just horrible. I wouldn't even know.
Okay, so then it is the colonization that you think is the best part of European culture.
I've only ever heard white guys go on rants about the circumstances in which they would try eating a person. Consensual cannibalism.
I've gone on that rant.
No, I've said I've only heard white guys say it.
You've never.
That's not a thing to brag about for us. It's only been white guys that do that.
You guys, you should see Africa. I mean, they eat each other, But yeah.
Oh, all
Oh
of
yeah,
Africa.
it's
Wow.
only Africa that does it. It's all of
guy,
Africa and only Africa.
This guy who
Look
wants
at-
us to
I can't-
believe European culture is great, and I've just categorized the entire continent of Africa as cannibals.
Except for Egypt. Egypt is kind of, pretty better.
You know what's
But
funny?
the rest
It's
of
funny you bring
I'm
up
s-
Egypt because do you know why we have so few Egyptian mummies? It's funny you bring up Egypt. We have so few Egyptian mummies today because the
Make him
English
answer. Make him
ate
answer.
them all.
I know.
They ate them. It was a form of medical cannibalism. They used them as aphrodisiacs in this treatment for disease. They ground up mummies and consumed them. What a very proud
Wait, you're
European
saying-
tradition.
It's really funny how even British people don't really do this shit. I guess there's a resurgence of that. I'm a proud Brit, but for the most part, when you talk to British people, they're like, "Yeah, well, we've made some mistake. We have some eggs on our face. We've put it on toast with beans."
Hey guys, I'm not claiming that every culture is perfect. I mean, I'm not claiming that. I'm just claiming
No,
that.
you're just claiming that one is objectively better than all the others, and the one culture you're referencing is a mix of like 36 cultures anyway. You racist fucking idiot!
Hey,
It's hysterical how
racist.
hard it is
What?
for you to keep the
Real
narrative
quick,
straight.
Jordan, you definitely are. But MAGA, real quick, MAGA and Theists,
I'm
surely
not.
you have better than Jordan to represent you. I just want to throw out the
Please.
number again. Jordan's about to explain to us what he doesn't understand about abortion. 720-619-2288.
Yes.
MAGA, Christians, Theists, we want to know why we're wrong, and we would love it if a person could come in with good reasons and not just some racist trying to beat around the bush who thinks all
I'm
Africans.
not racist.
I guarantee
have a
you this
black
guy.
friend. I'm not
I
racist.
guarantee. Oh, a black friend? Wait,
Yeah.
Jordan, prove it. Get him on the phone. Get your black
Get
friend
him
on the
on.
phone.
Bring him in here.
You
Bring
want me
him
to
in
get
here.
on the-
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Get him right
he's
now.
in his house. He's at his house. I don't live with him. I mean,
Go
what the
there.
heck?
Get him on the phone. Get
Go
him on
there.
the phone. Let's
You want me to
three-way
call
call
him?
him. Yeah, get him on the
Yeah,
phone.
call him up.
And he's
Get him on a
he's from
three-way
Ghana,
call.
by the way. He's from Africa. He's from Africa.
He's
too.
what?
He came
Amazing.
here.
He's from
Amazing.
Africa?
I want him.
Let's talk
I want
to
him to tell me
Ghana.
about his cannibalism because he's African and all Africans are cannibals, right?
Yeah.
I want to hear it. Let's talk to him.
Let's get your friend on the phone.
I don't know if he'll answer. I don't know if you guys are serious. I don't want to bother him, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know you don't.
I want to
Jordan,
bother him.
Explain
I want
us,
to bother him.
I did too. But I know he's not going to do it. So Jordan, explain to us all the brilliant things you know about why. Are you an abortion abolitionist?
I'm just pro-life. That's probably what I'll probably say. It
What does that mean?
identifies. Like I think killing an innocent person is wrong and not morally right.
Okay. I don't think you know what those
Yeah.
words mean. So you think that killing another person is wrong. So what is an abortion? Just define that term for me.
An abortion is terminating the fetus.
Wrong. So now we know why
What do
you
you mean,
believe
right?
that shit. That's not what an abortion is.
That is. What do you mean?
An abortion is terminating a pregnancy. An abortion is the end
Well,
of
the
a
fetus.
pregnancy. Do you know
Yeah,
what
which-
the medical terminology for a miscarriage is? What's the biomedical term for miscarriage?
I don't know. You tell me.
Spontaneous abortion.
Oh, wait. A miscarriage
It's-
is abortion. You're saying?
A spontaneous abortion.
Okay.
So there is no difference between the term spontaneous abortion and the term miscarriage. Miscarriage
No,
is just
no,
a
no.
colloquial
An
way of saying
abortion-
that. So are you saying that every woman who has
No,
an
a miscarriage is
abortion
not-
is
no.
killing this baby?
No, that's stupid. A miscarriage is where it naturally happens without anybody choosing it.
So just
Right,
when
but it
God
is
does
an
the
abortion.
That's
So just when
stupid.
God
It is an
does it?
abortion.
The intent abortion is the intent and the will, of a woman, terminating the fetus, killing the fetus.
That's not true.
Hey,
What do you mean?
I have
As
a
I
question
just
for Jordan.
explained.
Before you guys get into the
What?
specifics of the science, I have a question for Jordan. Hey, Jordan, is an abortion wrong if it's like a fertilized egg, like a zygote hasn't any real development, just the egg is fertilized? Is it still wrong?
Sorry, repeat your question again. Sorry.
Is abortion always wrong? Like, is it if it's an egg that's been fertilized, we're still in like zygote phase, no serious
like
development. Is that
conception?
abortion still wrong?
Are you talking about like a conception?
Yes. is
Oh yeah, I
purposely
believe it's. I believe it's wrong.
it's wrong
'cause, you
from
know, science
conception.
says life begins at conception. Science says 96% biologists. So yeah,
So
and
it
That's
is a
not true either,
tragedy to lose.
by the way.
Real quick, it is a
that is true. What do you
tragedy.
mean?
It is
You
a
could switch it up.
tragedy to lose any fertilized egg. Correct, Jordan?
Yeah, I would say so. 'cause,
Jordan,
you know,
hey,
that was
Jordan.
life.
Jordan, do you believe in God?
Kind of agnostic, kind of. You know, I don't know. I'm Gnostic.
Okay.
Probably.
So
I'm
to
a
be clear, just so you know, 60% of eggs do not make it to term naturally. In other words,
Mhm.
our systems, our human bodies, the
That's true? I don't know.
female human body, if you like, is actually less likely to have an egg make it to term than naturally be delivered. It is literally more likely to have a natural level abortion. Did you know we could start like controlling women's lives, not let them exercise the right ways? We could be monitoring, we could make every single woman wear monitors, we could check when they're ovulating, and we could lower that 60% number by half if we just highly controlled women's lives. And then that number of the natural lost ones, because they're just going about their lives in business, that would be cut in half. So should we do that? Should we start hyper controlling the lives of women, monitoring their periods, monitoring their ovulation, monitoring whether it's likely they're pregnant, preventing them from doing certain types of work, certain types of exercise?
Listen, I don't know why. Listen, I'm kind of.
Should we do that or
I'm kind
not?
of zoned out right there because I kind of zoned out right there because like I just want to talk about abortion and like why
Jordan, we're talking about abortion. We're talking about abortion. Right now we're talking about natural abortions. We are talking about, I know they gross you out because the problem with you don't know what a woman is on the basis of how far away you are legally required to stay from them. But I'm asking you, natural abortions occur more often than eggs come to term. It's about 60% are naturally aborted, and this takes abortion numbers by a doctor completely out of it. If you get pregnant, you are a miscarriage though? Yes, it's a natural abortion, but we could cut miscarriages. We could cut miscarriages in half.
Not an abortion. You're getting a mix. No, an abortion is the intent and the will of terminating the fetus.
Once again, you just don't believe in science because you don't want to.
Jordan, we could cut miscarriages in half.
Pause.
Jordan, no, we're not pausing. You're going to fucking pause and you're going to answer my question because this is my show and I am in charge here, Jordan. So I've muted you for a moment since you keep trying to avoid the question. If we highly controlled women's lives and other now I'm saying the stupid shit, other people with uteruses lives, if we highly controlled them, we could cut miscarriages, natural abortions in half. So as far as the will and the intent, that would mean that we are willfully and intending to protect the lives of those zygotes, of those embryos. We could cut that in half. Would you do that? Would you insist that women need to have their lives controlled more to make sure that we are losing as few as possible? Come on, Jordan.
Oh, sorry. Hello?
Yes. Hello.
You unmute? Oh, what's up?
Yes, I unmuted you because I asked you a question and this is where you answer. I was teaching you that that's how it works. Because you kept talking over and avoiding the question.
Yeah, because you're mixing.
Hey, Jordan, answer the question. Jordan, answer the fucking question.
Can you repeat your question again?
No. Goodbye,
Jesus
Jordan.
Christ. Once again, I don't believe in that science because that's not the science that I like. By the way, that fucking
40
number
minutes
about
in,
like,
I'm not doing it. Go ahead.
When he was saying that like 96% of biologists agree that life begins conception, you're talking to one that disagrees. And also that number comes from one fucking paper by one fucking guy that has been torn apart repeatedly. Literally, he just sent out. He asked people, "Do you believe in biologists?" when they say things about biology, and people are like, "Uh-huh." And so then he did a new survey where he sent out like 60,000 surveys to people that he identified as biologists from like their academic profiles, and like only 5,000 of them responded. And of that number, 96% of them said that life begins at conception. And so from the people that he identified in whatever sampling method he didn't use, and then the tiny, tiny fraction of those that actually bothered responding to the survey, of that amount in 96%. And so like one review that I was looking at on that one was like, said something along the lines of, it's like sending out 1,000 surveys about your favorite sport, and when only 10 people respond that they like football, you claim that 100% of Americans like football. It's the same shit.
It's legitimately a dumb thing to quote anyway, because the abortion argument isn't about, there isn't some implicit agreement that we all agree that whenever we agree something is alive, it now no longer has the right to be aborted. Many great things have the quality of being alive, like all of the sperm that Jordan's going to be dumping in his sock tonight. They're all alive tonight. Yep. What am I saying? He's been dumping it already right this moment.
It was during that call.
Yeah. I heard the inflections in his voice.
It is crazy to talk to somebody. It's like, but what I love the most about that call is that it was such an amazing representation of what a transphobe is, and what a racist is, and what a fucking scientifically illiterate idiot is. Here's what you're hearing. Every time I hear somebody, whenever we get a call from a MAGA person, from a transphobe, from a science denier of any stripe, that's who it is. It's like, that's the level that we're arguing with. Like, you people think that we fucking screen these calls to try to pick the worst ones. Nah. That's what we're getting.
This is your best.
And if you're a MAGA and you're listening to this, that's what you're representing. Somebody who doesn't believe in the moon landing or Pluto. That is who he's representing. Your fucking team. The pro-life people. This is your guy.
MAGA, Christians, theists, Muslims, you want to call right now if you want to avoid having to wait on hold for very much time, because at the moment, we've only got an atheist ahead of you. So right now is your window to call in if you're not looking to wait on hold. If you're looking to be more than a keyboard warrior, like so many people over on the vertical stream right now. Onward, keyboard warriors.
The person, what's this? Anton Arcane, call in. Let's talk about how we're racist against white people. Let's talk about it. Call in.
I'm stoked
Pick
about
up that phone.
Very quickly, while the new calls are being screened, we're going to talk to Winston in Japan. Winston, what's up?
Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Forrest. I'd like to talk about why religious people and Republicans hate transgender people.
Are you wanting to ask about it, or you're wishing to opine?
Well, I think they hate trans people because for the same reason they hate child-free people.
Winston, come on. You just tried to bypass my question. I think I've told you this before, unless you're a different Winston. This is not a monologuing show. I'm sorry that you've been on hold for so long and didn't know that. You told the screeners that you had a question for Forrest and I, which is why do politicians and religious people hate trans people? I do not doubt that you might have some wonderful insight, but we're not going to set the precedent that people can call in and just talk about the thing. It's not an open mic show. So if you have a question for us, we're willing to give you our opinions on it, but it's not a monologuing show. It's not. We don't gather the audience for strangers to call in and not debate.
That's right. I'm interested in your opinions too.
Okay, well, so let's get rid of the two and let's just go with you can pose your question, and that's what we're going to work with.
Okay. Why do you think Republicans and religious bigots hate transgender people so much?
I think there are a number of reasons, and I think the number one reason is patriarchy and a deep, deep sexual insecurity amongst men who broadcast that whatever they allow other men to do somehow undermines their own. They find it emasculating. They find gay people emasculating. They find trans people emasculating. And they are also terrified of the possibility that if they acknowledge that Hunter Schafer is a babe, that would make them gay. There's also a lot of this sort of implied by why there is such disproportionate attention to trans women versus trans men. There is a deep hatred amongst a lot of male culture for any man who, or people they perceive as men, trying to break free of the very rigid mold that they are meant to exist within. But I mean, there's lots and lots of reasons. Forrest, what would your opinion be on that?
Something very similar. I think that these men hate women, and they are seeing what they consider to be a man transitioning into this thing that they hate. And not only does that mean this person is a traitor, but much more frightening, it means that they could do it too. It means that it might happen to them, and their masculinity is no longer as rigid as they thought it was, and as fixed and as immutable as they thought it was, if it's something that can be thrown away in the way that they're seeing. And so it scares them, because it makes them think that perhaps they might have to acknowledge the fact that their own manhood, their own masculinity is precarious and in need of upkeep. And it's not something that they just get by virtue of being them. I also think that what you were starting to say there about child-free people, I just to build on that slightly, I would say also it does break the norm, and it challenges their culture, and it makes them have to think. And let me tell you, transphobes fucking hate thinking. So yeah, I think it's mainly just that they hate women and they hate gay people, and so you have this diarrhea martini of homophobia and sexism becoming transphobia.
MAGA and Theists, you still have time to call right now. It looks like the current people in the queue are also just calling with questions. That number's down there, 720-619-2288, 720-619-2288. Winston, if you want to give your opinion now, we'll give you 60 seconds, and then we are going to move on.
Okay. Yes, I think, like J.D. Vance said, he wants more babies in America. But I don't know why anyone would want to have children when most of them are going to be wage slaves or cannon fodder, most likely one and then the other. And having children certainly doesn't make money or food appear in your house. But thanks for letting me go on your show.
Yep, thanks, Winston.
My headphone glitched out and disconnected and reconnected 30 times during that. So I have no idea what was just said. It cut. You said, "What's your opinion?" It cut out, and then I came back with slaves and cannon fodder, and I have no idea how we got there from trans folks.
That was all.
But
that was it.
Okay. Yeah.
Little bit of breaking news while we wait to see if any of you MAGA, theists, Christians, Muslims have the cojones to call in and defend your position. This is the time to do it. You have a huge audience waiting for you. We've got something like 1,400 on the horizontal. Luthien, how many do we have on the vertical? Can you see that easily?
I've got it right here. Don't ask her. Don't waste her time. It's 230 something. 246.
Oh, that's it on the vertical. Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, Luthien's doing more important things.
That's lame.
I'm gonna step over here for 2 seconds while you continue to drum up the audience. I'll be right back.
I think you're gonna be very interested in what I'm about to share. Can you hear me when you walk away?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just got to go check something.
A little bit of breaking news. Thank you to the super chatter. Let me see who brought it to the attention. I've pulled it up. Kayla Albertson. Marjorie Taylor Greene has resigned. Effective January. Let's see. January 5th will be her last day. And she is citing her fallout with Trump. She has claimed that Donald Trump is going to lose the midterms, or rather the Republicans are going to lose the midterms. And that when that happens, they are going to impeach Trump. Wild. What a wild world we live in. Because I got to tell you, I didn't think she was capable. I don't know what, like, I need time to think about it. Because it's almost like a tight move, because she's taking away power in the House. Keep in mind that majority is a slim majority they have in the House. Now, what I would love to see is if she would initiate a recall vote for the Speaker of the House. You know how they can initiate that? I know they made it harder after the last one, but they can initiate that. That would be fucking hilarious and amazing. Also, apparently toward the, let's see, should I just read the whole statement while we see if any MAGA wants to call in? MAGA, call in. Call in and defend Donald Trump. Donald Trump is doing a terrible job as president. Donald Trump is a bad person, a bad president. Christianity is untrue. It is bad for America. Christian nationalism is bad for America. Here is from the desk of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C. and never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. My God, she's so close. She's so close to understanding that the capitalism is the problem. And the results are always the same, no matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republicans or Democrats. Nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher. Corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts. American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. A little bit of white supremacy red flags there. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interests. The spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents must work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream, which breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again means America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies. I have to say it that way. Because I believe God creates life at conception. So she's still, guys, don't worry, she's still dumb. Strong, safe borders. I've fought against COVID, tyrannical insanity, and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage levels and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save American healthcare and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day this week to fix this disaster, but instead, there's no this week. I don't know. My brain made that up. But instead, America is forced-fed disgusting political drama, once again from both sides of the aisle. My bills will which reflect many of President Trump's executives order. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Many common Americans I'm not going to read. There's like 3 more pages of this. Where's the good stuff? Many common Americans no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda. We know how bad credit card debt is. These are people I represent and love. I've been blessed to represent the 14th district. Worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back to the district. Fought harder than any other Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power, traveling to the country for years, spending millions of my own money. I didn't know she had. Oh, yeah, that's right. The stock market bullshit. The insider trading. Missing precious time with my family that I can never get back, and showing up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defend him against anything have all been welcomed in after the election. And I will never forget the day that I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much. Through it all, never change. I don't like H-1Bs, AI, state moratoriums, debt for... okay, she's right that the 50-year mortgage scam sucks. Standing at that. Loyalty should go both ways. America first should mean America first and only America first. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14, trafficked, and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead God, who created everything in existence. Anything else of any interest in this? Only goals Republican, not stop here. It's been unfair and wrong. I had too much self-respect and dignity. Let's see. I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms. In turn, be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me to try and destroy me.
Yeah, that's all very, very lovely stuff that someone else wrote for her, because there's no way she's fucking literate enough to put that together. I am also like kind of like it's fun. It's fun to have the hopeful fantasy that maybe she's starting to wake up a bit. And when she talks about like political division and one party hates the other party and all this stuff, it's really fun to be there. But I also don't forget that she's the same person who pushed great replacement theory shit, even in this. That she's the same person who pushed COVID conspiracy shit about anti-vax stuff. She's the same person who talked about fucking Jewish space lasers and a bunch of other anti-Semitic globalist conspiracy things. She's the same person. By the way,
last year, as far as space lasers go, last year she said the government can control the weather. Like that, the space lasers she can't say was old, but she's like, look up cloud seeding as though those are remotely on the same scale as the hurricane she was talking about.
This is the same person who has done literally nothing with her career except for sow hate and discord and obnoxious, loud bigotry. Her entire career, her entire plan as a representative has been to get on camera as much as possible by being as obnoxious and as cruel and as hateful and as loud and as belligerent and as stupid as possible. Same exact situation with Lauren Boebert, similar situation with Nancy Mace. It's all the fucking same. That is just their agenda. And so now, as nice as it is to play into this fantasy, she's going to have to do a whole hell of a lot more than step down in disgrace. It just happened to be at the moment when the fucking leopard started eating her face too. When Donald Trump turned on her instead of on innocent brown people. At that moment, she happens to start to grow this conscience. She's going to have to do a whole hell of a lot less for me to take her even remotely seriously. And even then, she will never be a fucking ally. She will be useful at best, but I don't think she would ever be anything more than what she is. Leopards don't change their spots, y'all. Not in that way.
You should put more drawl onto y'all. They don't change your spots, y'all.
It comes out a lot. I was raised in Oklahoma, and it comes out a little bit every now and then.
Bob in California, a MAGA is saying we should support Donald Trump. Go ahead, Bob. First, Bob, how old are you, Bob? Bob in California, can you hear us? Hey there, hi there, hold there, Bob.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Bob.
Go.
Bob in California, how old are you? I'm
18.
So you've never voted for Trump, it sounds like, right? You wouldn't have been able to.
No, but I'm hoping I can in the next election.
How would you vote for Trump in the next election? Donald Trump doesn't.
Well,
Donald Trump
me and
can't
my family,
be in the
we're
next election.
personally hoping he's going to run for a third term. Us personally,
so
I don't
to
know
be
why
clear,
a lot
then,
of
Bob, you are MAGA, but you are. No. Excuse me, Bob. Liberals aren't against that. We're not liberals. The United States Constitution is against that. So as you, Bob, say you hope he runs for a third term, you are hoping we discard the Constitution, correct?
In favor of Donald.
Well, the Constitution can be changed, so it's not a problem for us.
Okay, great. How does that get changed? How does the Constitution get changed?
Barack Obama character that runs for president again.
I think you're a troll. How does the Constitution get changed?
But like,
I'm sorry, what did you say?
What is the process by which the Constitution gets changed?
Yeah, Donald Trump can sign an executive order. He
Incorrect.
Can get rid of that. Not a problem
Incorrect.
for us.
Yeah, wrong.
Incorrect. You cannot change the Constitution by executive order.
How do you know? Have you ever changed the Constitution?
Have you? My God, that is maybe the dumbest answer.
That was funny.
You know what I have done is read the Constitution.
As far as trolls go, that was a funny one.
Are you against the immigrants being deported?
We're going to get there. What part of the Constitution lays out how to change the Constitution?
I haven't read that part. Do you know?
Have you read any of the Constitution, Bob? Yes, I do know. I do know. Have you ever read the Constitution?
Yeah, I've read I know the First, Second, Third Amendments.
Okay, interesting.
Those aren't the whole Constitution, just so you know.
The amendments. Have you ever read the non-amendment part, the parts that precede it? Have you ever read what are called the Articles of the Constitution?
No, I haven't. I only know about the fact that you liberals want to take away our guns.
I'm not a liberal.
Want to take away our free speech.
Bob, why?
Yeah, so-
hey,
seriously,
Bob,
Well, you're a
not-
Democrat.
be real with us.
You're a
Come on,
Democrat,
guys.
aren't
no,
you?
No, we're not.
Bob, no.
No.
And you're not even a MAGA and you're not a Republican. Bob, why are you pretending? What is this character you're doing?
You dumb
This is-
fucking
you're-
nigger liberal. Don't ever tell me what I am and what I
Your
am not.
accent-
See, there we
I
go.
am MAGA.
I was hoping.
I love
The
I was
accent's
hoping
dumb.
to like.
The whole thing's dumb.
It's been an obvious troll the whole time. I was hoping to get something
Yeah.
useful out of it, but like we got that. Although I will tell you, I do appreciate the fact that Bob is an excellent representative of what MAGA is. The
I actually
whole
didn't
character
believe
he's
he was
portraying
really
right now-
MAGA until he slipped the N word. Now I'm like,
until
oh
that-
shit.
yes,
Actually,
and
you
now
know
it's
what?
like, yeah, all right. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it
he
turns
might
out,
be-
yeah.
Might be. Anyway, Bob,
I was gonna throw
you
out there.
can't grasp simple
I was gonna-
concepts. You are very
Well,
unintelligent.
we were
man.
talking about the Constitution, and he was talking about amendments, and I went and grabbed a copy of the Constitution over here, and I've got, the Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment. I was going to go over those and talk about how they
Yeah.
talk about all people, not just, white Christian Americans and citizens and shit like that. I was going to make it an educational experience for the people watching, because I know obviously the character isn't going to listen, but like I wanted to make it a fun thing. But then he had to ruin it by blowing his load early with the racial slurs. If you're gonna troll, y'all, you gotta drag it out and you gotta make it funny. You gotta make it interesting. Have you ever changed the Constitution? That was funny. That was silly.
That's kinda
But
funny.
like the rest of it
pretty
was just
funny.
lazy. The rest of
Yeah.
it was lazy.
Hey, Bob, I'm sorry your penis is so dry, but please start developing an interest in consensual sex. That's no way to try and solve it. Bye, dickwad. All right, moving on.
I miss the days. It makes me feel old because I miss when trolls were like creative. You know what I mean? It was like funny and it was imaginative, and they'd like drag it out for a while. Now it's just like, how quickly can I say a bad word on the internet, and then everyone will know that I said a bad word on the internet, and it's like that's your legacy. That's all you got. That's how interesting you are. I got on the internet and said a word that people don't like. Ha ha.
At this
But
point, I'm
fuck,
literally,
man,
it's so boring.
used to really try.
It's so boring. I
That's what I'm
get it.
saying.
No
It's just-
one will touch your penis.
It used to be fun.
I got my penis
Fifth
touched earlier.
Amendment-
I'm going to get it touched after the show. And that really bugs
It's
Bob.
gonna be the best part of my night after the show.
These
fucking-
liberals get their penis touched, and that really hurts my feelings. So I got to go say an N-word.
it just sucks.
All right, we ready for the next one?
Yeah, somebody. If I want to read the 14th Amendment to somebody, damn it,
The 14th Amendment. Why? Okay, but
just the first part of it.
for people who are watching, I was referencing Article 5 of the Constitution, which lays out how you change the Constitution.
No, I know what you were doing because that's I was going to
Yeah.
talk about because he was talking about immigration and stuff, and I was going to get into due process and how it specifically says it says like every person and any person. It doesn't say citizen. And when the last No Kings protest was going on, very nice. The last No Kings protest was going on. I literally was standing on the side of the road with a megaphone yelling, "The Constitution protects every person. It does not say just citizens." And I had fucking people with Trump flags in their truck going, "You better read it again. You're wrong about that." And I'm like, I have it right here. Come read it with me. I have it right here. And they fucking wouldn't. And so I just want to read those.
Read, and you can't make me.
Read is what liberals do.
Racist against white people.
Oh man.
Hunter
I
in
hope that person calls
Georgia. Hunter in Georgia, you are on the line with Jimmy and
Hunter
Forrest.
Schaefer is
How you
on the
doing,
line.
Hunter? I wish.
How are you?
Just fine. Do you know Hunter Schaefer? Pass my number to her.
Hunter Schaefer. I do not know who that is.
She's an actress, total babe. You'll Google her later.
We
and
were-
you'll
we
be
were-
like, oh man,
We were talking about her
Gorgeous.
earlier on, and then I heard her name Hunter, and I jumped on it as a joke. I'm sorry, I was distracted.
I would jump on Hunter
you're
as
good,
not
man.
a joke.
You're good.
All right. Go ahead, Hunter from Georgia. What can I do you for?
I mean, I saw y'all scrolling on that YouTube, I was just wondering, like, y'all believe in God or not?
I do not.
Absolutely not.
So what y'all willing to
I love your
debate?
accent,
'Cause
by the way.
I love conversation.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
What's
I
your
love your
best
accent, by the way. You
defense
sound
of the
like my
existence
neighbors.
of God?
Sorry, what?
He's from Georgia. Hunter
I
can't.
said you sound like my neighbors.
Forrest can't tell the difference between different Southern accents, so he thinks you sound like his
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
I'm racist against white people. Is the problem?
Yeah. We know.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, Hunter, what's your best argument? Let's just start with the best. Let's not do the silly ones. What is your best argument for the existence of God?
What is my best argument for the that's a good question now.
Do you believe that God speaks to you through the Holy Spirit?
Do I believe what?
God speaks to you through the Holy Spirit?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do.
Would you like to take a moment to say a prayer and ask him for the words to say to us that'll change our hearts?
I don't know about all that. That kind of sounded like a joke coming from
No,
me.
I'm dead serious. If you believe God communicates to you, God would know what evidence would change my heart. And if you want to take a moment, totally unironically, I just sound sarcastic. It's my autism. It's nothing else. Totally unironic,
No,
totally not
it's all good,
sarcastically.
man. I personally believe.
Would you like to
the
take a
Holy
moment to
Spirit-
invite the Spirit?
I don't need to invite something that's living inside of me, sir. So I respect the offer. Yeah.
Well, give us God's best argument for his existence.
So I'll tell you this. Obviously, this is more of a debate format where we're here to give arguments and evidence. But I'll just tell you all this now. Personally, I'm not the smartest. I ain't a scholar, but I'll tell you, Jesus has changed me now. I'll tell you this. My argument, if we want to call it an argument, is the Trinity. I know atheists love to talk about that Trinity. It doesn't make a lot of sense logically, but when you actually look more deep into it, Father, Son, and Spirit, you look at what the Bible says. The beginning when He created the Word, when He created man, He said, "Let us create man in our image." He didn't say in my image. He said our. So I personally believe that our man.
So Hunter, you're kind of not staying on topic here. I get what you're trying to do here and what you're trying to share, but this isn't why you believe in God. This is just the details of what that God is like. Fine. Let's skip the details of what you think that God is like. I don't believe the Bible is true. Sir. In fact, I think the Bible is explicitly, obviously, somewhat. I'll skip that part. I think it's very clearly untrue. The Bible is very clearly wrong. So you could start there if you want to go with why should I believe the Bible is true? So far, the only thing you've kind of given us was Jesus changed my life, but I've literally talked to Muslims who have told me Islam changed their life. I grew up Mormon. I would have told you that Mormonism and Jesus through Mormonism changed my life, or that Joseph Smith changed my life. So this is what everybody says. Like, that's the kind of thing that Muslims especially love.
Of course, man. I
love
understand
it.
what you're
so I need the evidence that yours is true that they can't use.
Yeah, so when it comes to Muslims and any other religion, that's true. Like, I wouldn't deny that it's changed other people's lives either. Because, religion at the end of the day has been something used in society for the betterment, as you can see in some Muslim countries, it's not actually working well. The concept of
as
Islam,
you can see in some Christian countries, it's not working well.
Mm-hmm. Because religion is used for the detriment of society all the time, right?
I would argue politics is also, but yeah.
What's the difference?
I think one thing I think about religion is I think religion is different. So yeah, I'm not going to argue that Christianity isn't a religion, but I do think that it's not the same as what you would think it is.
Great. So Hunter, let's skip the foreplay. Tell us what evidence Christianity has that every other religion couldn't claim is the same evidence for their religion, right? So we can't go, it changed my life, because as you acknowledged, any religion can say that, right? So what is the evidence that Christianity is true, and it's the way you understand it, that God exists, Jesus Christ existed and was crucified on the cross, came back from the dead for our sins. The whole story, I've read it many times. Give it to me why it's true.
See, again, this is not hard to answer. I'll just tell you, for a lot of people that become Christians, true, genuine, authentic Christians, it's not necessarily that there's this sort of evidence that caused them to switch. Usually it's an encounter that they have that's supernatural. But since you don't want to go there, I'll probably have to go with the resurrection.
Hunter, but hang on, Hunter. Let's not skip past that. The reason we don't want to go there is your own acknowledgement that Muslims could claim that too. Mormons can claim that too. Hindus can claim that too. So you're saying to a Christian, they have a personal reason because their faith is strong because of some encounter that they think was supernatural happened. That's what everybody of all the religions said, and you already acknowledged that. So let's not make it that we don't want to go there. We just want good proof. If you want proof that evolution is true, we got good proof, right? If you want proof of any other scientific concept, we got tons of good proof that only works for those things. You can't, like evolution can't work and intelligent design at the same time, or creationism or whatever else. The evidence isolates to just that. So I'm just asking for something like that, right? For Christianity. Now, please proceed.
Yeah. So what I think you're trying to get at is for me to point to the Bible, to specific parts of the Bible. I don't know, prophecies. I totally believe 100% in the Bible. I think it's the word of God. However, I do think it's also taken out of context a lot. What I've
so far we're using the same thing that Mormons and Muslims say about their holy books. So we're not getting closer to isolated evidence.
What can you give me a hint on? Maybe I could. You can help me out, so I could just tell you what I think, because.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to help you prove that the Bible is true, because I don't believe the Bible is true. In fact, I will again tell you the Bible is false. The story of Adam and Eve is impossible. Even up through like David, any historical figure prior to David, their likelihood is extremely low the further you go back. Moses, the story of Moses, we know who was in that part of Egypt at that time that the story of Moses supposedly happened. It wasn't Jews, and they weren't slaves. Those types of Jews didn't even exist in that part of the world at that time. So the story of the Exodus isn't true. So you can say these are nice parables or whatever else. And then here's the deal. Your claim is that a man can be killed, be fully dead for 3 days, and rise back from the dead. That is scientifically, in every way we can possibly show, impossible. So you need to have evidence that is exceptional that actually happened. And right now, the Bible, whose accounts start decades after, nobody who was there and witnessed it ever wrote it down. There are no contemporary witnesses to the resurrection. Nobody who actually spoke to Jesus wrote it down. So why should I accept that Christianity is true when it has nothing going for it that every other religion can't say they also have going for them? Muhammad actually is verified to have existed.
Do you know how many people, according to the Muslims, are actually going to go to heaven?
I don't know that they have a specific number.
It's about 144,000.
You're thinking of the Jehovah's Witnesses. You're thinking of the Jehovah's Witnesses.
No, I'm talking about the Muslims.
No, in Islam, there are going to be people who get to like a higher tier of reward with the virgins and stuff. That might be the 144. I think you're actually thinking about a hadith that says that Muhammad will have a community. Some people interpret that it's 70,000. Some people interpret it 700,000. However, there is not a limit. They don't have a fixed number of people who go to heaven. In fact, it is the Bible that the 144,000 number comes from. That's your book, not theirs, that say that.
I have a question. When it comes to Christianity in general, what are some of the things that you think is not good for society, or disagree with?
Misogyny, patriarchy, slavery, sexual slavery, ownership of women, ownership of people. I mean, just to further define the slavery stuff, purity culture. The way Christians have bastardized Jesus' word to support capitalism, where I quite like Jesus, the character. He's very Bernie Sanders-esque.
Yeah.
But that's not how Christians use it, and certainly not the book prior. And Jesus did still reaffirm slavery while not being as dickish as he was in the Old Testament about it. So I would say the Confederacy is a direct and complete it's not a stretch that the Confederacy was Christian. It's Christian in nature. The Crusades, obviously Christian in nature. A lot of the terrible religious things we're doing now, like the recent genocide in Gaza, was a Christian-supported, obviously a Jewish ethno-state committing genocide, but for the Christians. Because the only reason why the Christians like that the Jews are keeping Israel warm is they believe that God's going to get rid of them once he comes back. So it's kind of like, hell yeah, let them keep it warm for us. So I think everything that is good about Christianity, you don't need Christianity to have. And everything that is bad about Christianity, a staunch belief in Christianity will convince even good people to adhere to.
Do you see any positives when it comes to just church, the Christian movement?
Did you hear what I just said, Hunter, right before that? Did you hear the last thing I said? Because it was the positives, or it was about the positives.
Or what I said, what are the positives specifically? If you have
community, communities are nice, but we don't need Christianity to have communities. I like the concept of forgiveness and rehabilitation. However, Christianity actually bastardizes that and gives you a means by which you can obtain forgiveness from someone other than the person you actually offended. So in other words, there are rapists out there who have never made it right, if you can do so, have never done whatever the right thing is to deserve forgiveness from their victims, but they feel forgiven because Christianity has told them that God forgave them. Doesn't matter if the woman forgave them, God did. So I would say that there's a concept of forgiveness and rehabilitation, and that even people who used to be evil can be good again. That you could say Christian has themes in there. However, the practical application of their themes I find to actually not be so good. But there's things in there to work with, and that's why I like progressive Christians, for example. And everything I just described to you, I can tell you there are better versions of that in secular humanist communities and in secular therapy and the like.
Yeah. So, like I began with, I think one of the main things about Christianity that separates it from other religions and is just the whole 3-in-1, one God but three parts. I think it explains a lot about Jesus himself. It explains about
Hunter,
God,
this isn't proof that God exists. This is just you telling me how the God is different than yours. I don't believe the Muslims' God exists. So why would telling me what color pants he's wearing as opposed to the other guys further prove that he's true, or that he's three dudes in one? I need to know why a God exists at all, and then specifically why your God. I'll go in reverse order.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the Bible. What about the prophecies?
Yeah, none of the prophecies are impressive, and this is the same thing. Again, this is what the Muslims and the Mormons do. They are the prophecies that are the most impressive are the ones that have been fulfilled, where the people who fulfilled them had access to to those books and went and tried. So, in other words, if I get a book that says one day we're going to build a statue down my road, and I go build the statue, that's not a fulfillment of a prophecy if I have the book. So all of those prophecies you throw out. Then the other ones, also, the vague ones, Mormons love to point out, it says in the last day, wars and rumors and wars and storms like we've never seen before. And that's what the news says. But you're not going to go believe in the Book of Mormon because the Book of Mormon predicted stronger hurricanes. Or do you believe in the Book of Mormon, Hunter?
No, sir, I do not.
Oh, there you go.
What bothers me, Hunter, is that you're talking about, I'm just going to say, you're talking about these fucking prophecies. And it's like, as we already mentioned earlier, the entire book is just riddled with historical and scientific inaccuracies, right? The creation story makes zero sense. The Exodus story makes zero sense. It gets biology wrong. It gets astronomy wrong. It gets the way the Earth formed wrong. It gets Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2 directly contradict each other. You mentioned the resurrection earlier on. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all tell different resurrection stories that contradict each other. So you've got a book that does not tell the truth, and we know that for sure. It is scientifically, historically inaccurate, logically impossible. And also, it's pro-slavery and pro-genocide and pro-misogyny and pro-rape. It is full of immoral, horrible messages. And what you're saying is, well, sometimes it makes some kind of vague predictions. Okay, sorry. Even if that was vaguely true, it's not good enough. And it doesn't lead me to believe that any other part of it is worth believing in. If I pick up a copy of Mein Kampf and it makes a good prediction about something that happens in the future, I'm going to chalk that up to just a happenstance. I'm going to say that that's probably a coincidence. I'm not going to start believing in everything else in that book.
Yeah, so clearly, I see where y'all stand when it comes to Christianity, and I respect it, man. Y'all could say y'all won this debate. I'm not really a debater, but I respect this time. Y'all have a good one.
Take care.
Well, call back sometime, Hunter. I'd love to talk to you more about the details of your book to prove to you that it's actually an immoral, awful book. I know a lot of people spend a lot of time in Leviticus, but you and me and Thessalonians are about to have a meal.
Ooh, girl.
I might call back with some notes down. Maybe a little more prepared.
That sounds great.
You, me, and Deuteronomy. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, Hunter.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.
See ya.
My wife brought me a fucking fruit platter
with peanut butter.
That's caramel.
That's pretty much the thing I honed in on. Oh, then I don't care as much.
I would be down for some peanut butter though, but I need to be able to. Peanut butter is tight. Rhett and Link taught me that you can just go get a fucking scoop of peanut butter from a jar and just consume it. Never would have thought to do that before I heard them talking about it like the third time. It's awesome. It's an amazing midnight snack.
I'm very surprised you didn't know that because you grew up poor I did.
Yeah, but I never would have done such a thing. It would have bothered me because did you know I actually the first time I ever had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich was, I think I was like 24, 25.
Okay, so that's already fucking crazy. Peanut butter and jelly, like I have consumed thousands of them. I would say even though I haven't been able even though I have not been able to have them for the last year and a half because of my health stuff and I just can't have anything in them now, I would still say my lifetime still averages to 2 a day. I have probably eaten whatever my age is times 365 times 2 number of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's how many I've had in my life. And you had a neglectful...
Amber introduced them to me.
You had neglectful parents too, right?
I had a lot of bad things. Yeah. But my Amber introduced them to me when I was in my mid-20s, and I have loved them since. And so, now I just consume peanut butter like a fucking animal.
Yeah, you totally
madly.
Can do that. Growing up poor,
it's
wild. Go get a spoon of peanut butter. What do you want, me to feed you? Because I'm your mom? That's crazy.
Right. Shout out to Good Mythical Morning. We love to support small channels and help them raise up a little bit. Yeah, so they're cool guys.
I'm just saying, Rhett, you could come on here. I'm just saying, you could do this thing, and we won't even get 10% of our money to the Mormon Church, like one of the atheist figures you support. Rhett, come on, do it. What was I going to say? Oh, also. So because you grew up poor, I assume microwave tortillas with cheese is a thing for you, right? No? Oh, okay. I was just like, have you never? Yeah. It's like, you'll eat that or you ate that a lot?
I will eat that. I did not eat that a lot growing up. We had different struggle meals. You ever had chip beef on toast? Cream chip beef?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the shit.
That's a struggle food?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It Maybe costs all of 30 cents to make.
Oh, I was eating Bishop Storehouse shit. You know what I mean? Just the church store.
Have you ever had
Powdered
Showboat
milk?
brand baked beans. No, Showboat
No, I don't
brand
like
baked
beans
beans.
though. I wouldn't have eaten it if I
Okay.
had them,
Okay.
so I don't know.
Not
You ever
even
had
on
powdered
toast, you
milk?
British fuck.
Yeah, no, well, okay, here's the deal though. I might like beans, but I for so long in my life understood I didn't like beans that I haven't really tried. Now I can't eat them. But somebody recently told me like, no, your mother kept trying to give you canned baked beans because my mother thinks those are good. And apparently they're the dog shittiest of beans. So I don't know, I might like them.
That's one of the things we got from the one of the charities that we got our food from was called Angel
I think it was
Food.
Bush's baked beans.
And Bush is like a solid brand for people who want canned baked beans. It's everybody's cool with that. But
maybe
like
it's just that baked beans, that
when
there are other options besides baked beans. But that's why I hated beans. Anyway, go on.
we would have Showboat brand in a can. That's what Angel Food would give us. And let me tell you, if you ever want to taste sadness in a child, that's what it tastes like. It's crazy. It just sucks all the joy out of you. It's horrible.
Hey, Sticks Dev, when was your autism assessment? Stick Devs wrote, small channel, good mythical morning. What world are you living in? So I'm just wondering when you've been assessed for autism, because you are autistic. And I can say that, but he was being sarcastic and you didn't get it. And that's not your fault because of your autism. So let me know when you've been assessed or when you're going to get assessed. Not an insult. Legitimately, I'm telling you.
Thoughts?
I'm willing to diagnose you already.
To Master Gill, who says they have Showboat brand baked beans in their pantry right now. Hashtag the struggle is real. 2 in the thoughts, 1 in the prayers. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope things get better for you.
Let's quick knock out these atheist calls, take some super chats, and then call it a day. Elijah in Texas. Elijah calling in with a super spicy topic. I'm lying to try and stop people from leaving. Elijah, give us your question.
Hey, yeah, I know it's not very exciting. I've been watching y'all for a while, and it's really been interesting. But yeah, it's really just, how do I deal with people who refuse to respect my beliefs? Because, like, I have some grandparents, because I'm living with them right now because of family situation, that
How old are you?
refuse to not 18. I just turned 18
Okay.
about a week ago. Yeah. And it's just kind of like they refuse to not let me either A, watch, or B, be there, because we alternate between watching it on a live stream and going there in person, and they get mad
Watching
at me
what,
for
church?
not participating. Yeah.
Oh.
And they get mad at me for not participating in the religion, and I repeatedly tell them, like, hey, it's not my thing.
So first of all, nobody here successfully maneuvered a life with family that sucked. So we're probably, hell yeah, and the best peanut butter. So we're probably not the right people to tell you, but my gathering from other people who have successfully maneuvered it would be just try not to be there as often as possible and be working on whatever resources you have so that the moment you can live independent of them comes, that you do. But otherwise, like, just like, I don't know what to tell you besides fly under the radar, do whatever you have to do to survive. If you still rely on them financially, you know, just do what you have to do to survive. And then as soon as you, but be building up your resources and don't slack on that, because it really sucks. To this, I can speak greatly. It really sucks when it isn't your choice that you have to leave. So if you've already been building up the resources and the plan of what's going to happen when the time comes for you to leave, that's a much better situation. But otherwise, it's like when people call in and say, how do I change my parents' mind? I'm like, well, I didn't change my parents, so why would I? Neither Forrest nor I think, would describe ourselves as successfully finding peaceful coexistence with people we relied on who were staunchly against our beliefs.
We just rely on ourselves now, and it's beautiful.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all good,
Yeah.
Elijah. I just wish I don't know.
I cannot.
I'm just being candid. I don't have good advice for you. But I have good, in theory, advice from what other people told me. Try and not be home except to sleep as much as you can. That's pretty much all I got for you.
Yeah, thanks for that. By the way, love your videos, Porsche Malachi. I'm gonna start looking at you, Jimmy Snow. I think I'm good now.
Yeah.
It was really nice talking to you. I've been wanting to do this forever, but it's like I don't really have anything interesting to talk about. So yeah,
you can also
thanks.
just kind of do the calculus. Is okay. Do the calculus of like how much the conversation is worth and how much your boundaries are worth, and like decide whether or not you need to have that relationship. Is there
he
is
lives
a
there, is what I was pointing out.
Yeah,
he's 18,
yeah, but like if you live there,
he's still financially relying on these people.
Right, but in turn, I get comments a lot or questions a lot from people who like want to maintain a relationship with their parents, but their parents are doing what Elijah's parents are doing and not respecting their boundaries of saying like you are forced to participate in our religion, or they won't accept them as an atheist, or they won't accept their gender identity, their sexuality, all these other things. Just take the time to do the calculus as well of, okay, I need to have this very hard conversation where I establish these firm boundaries. How much is that conversation worth? How much is my relationship with this person worth? How much are these boundaries and my peace of mind worth? And find the balance between those things and decide where you're going to lay down like this actual line and say, okay, I'm going to have the conversation up to the point where it costs me this much of the relationship, or the relationship is not the most important thing and actually the boundary is the most important thing. So relationship be damned, we're going for it. And maybe that means distancing yourself and just finding a way to leave, like Jimmy's talking about. Maybe that means you can sort it out before you leave. There is a balance there, and I can't tell you what that balance is. So take the time to seriously think about it and decide, where is this line of my comfort and my self-respect and my self-worth, and how much is this conversation to establish that line worth to me? And when you can figure that out, you'll be all right.
All right. Thanks, guys. But going
Elijah.
to find out what your channel is, Jimmy.
If you want, but it's called Jimmy Snow in the Line. It's not tough. It's just this,
Okay.
but always politics, pretty much. I just do less of the God shit. Technically, the Line is my channel, so you did find me in a way. Oh. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Elijah.
It's our channel. It's a socialist thing.
Yeah, I forgot. Which, thank goodness you said that. I have a lot of work for you to do. I need to actually redistribute some of the labor. And I'm excited that you're going to be putting in some of the tech and also sharing in on some of the losses. I did realize that. I was like, it is socialist, except for I pay you guys profit share before expenses, which actually means it's not very socialist. You guys are benefiting
because you're so anti-capitalist that you are doing it so wrong on purpose.
I'm the only socialist. All the rest of you are being capitalistly.
All we have to do is just get paid.
Right. So exactly. There we go.
You're the most socialist. So you win the socialism.
Elise in Utah damn right. Elise in Utah, you are on the line with Jimmy and Forrest.
Hi. Love you guys. Just real quick. Also, it's weird because I usually listen to you guys on 1.75 speed, so hearing you guys talk at your normal pace feels very slow.
You sound drunk, I bet.
You do. So just quick.
I'm always surprised at how slow I speak when I listen to myself. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah. So the only deaths that I've personally had to deal with so far, I'm 37, and the only deaths I've had to deal with so far are a couple of grandparents, great-grandparents, and some great aunts and uncles, who all lived into their 80s, so, good long lives. But a couple weeks ago, my sister, her partner died, who was just perfect for her, very suddenly in a car accident. And as a nihilist and an atheist, and my sister is, I would call her spiritual. I know she doesn't, we all grew up Mormon, and none of the kids, to my parents' great dismay, we've all left the church. But she's still very spiritualist and into the woo-woo stuff. But I'm wondering how to be supportive and empathetic, especially when people are all like, oh, don't worry, you'll see him in heaven, or when she's, I know he's here, I can feel his spirit, and obviously I don't believe that, but I don't also want to feel like an asshole and be like, well, actually,
So don't do that. This is a weird question. At least don't do that. Don't affirm it either. And you're well, if ever you're asked for input on those things, you can be like, look, when people are going through trauma, it's like such a common experience for people to think they're having experiences with their loved one. I don't know specifically what's happening in your brain. I'm not going to tell you what is or isn't the case, but I'll hang out with you. And when you're sad or you want to like go off, and I'll take you go-karting. You want to go go-karting? You want a good distraction from dead people? Go go-karting.
Yeah, I think mountain climbing is more her thing, which is definitely not mine. But
lame. Take her go-karting.
Tetris. Tetris is the best way to deal with grief, dude. It helps a lot.
I actually have heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, also,
you have to do
like,
it when you're in the height of the emotions, especially shortly after you've been exposed to a traumatic thing. But it is, yeah, it's very good.
Also, like, don't worry too much about like needing to have like the answer or the comfort thing. I think the most important thing for you is just being there.
Right.
Like, that's really where you're needed most and where your attention is needed most. And it's grief isn't a thing you take a pill and cure. And so being there and getting through it together is the best thing that I can tell you for a sibling. That would be ideal. In my opinion, anyway. My stupid ass opinion.
Right. It feels weird when everyone else is saying like, oh, don't worry, you'll see him again someday, or he's out there in the universe.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting in the quiet corner being quiet,
Yeah. No, it sucks. It sucks. And like, just, it's weird because for me, like, I don't, when you have that kind of religious grief strategy, it is focused on talking about that person. And like, I'm not saying don't talk about that person, but also you have your own life to pursue and your own feelings and emotions to deal with and your own issues to worry about and everything else. So like, moving forward is also a big part of it. So
maybe you should play Tetris while you're at those events.
That's a cool thing to do.
Yeah. I feel like if it was me, I would know how to deal with that grief and I would be ready to accept that from a nihilistic point of view. But it feels difficult and weird trying to comfort somebody else who doesn't have that same outlook.
You can encourage them to cry, encourage them to think about that person, to share different experiences of like memories that you have with that person. The thing that I think is so dirty that religion does to people about death is it actually stops you from actually grieving, right? It just keeps you in a lifelong state of denial. And at some point you need to accept, even if they don't accept the person is dead, they have to accept that that person's not going to walk through the door and come chill with them or do whatever support stuff or whatever. So if you can help be for a part of that level of acceptance, not trying to force that, but literally just be like, let's talk about how life will be different now that this person isn't present. Let's talk about like what your plan is for this. Hey, whenever you find yourself in these situations, know you can call me and talk to me when you're like, I don't know, doing laundry and one of his socks ends up there and it just whatever. If that's the thing that sets you off, you can call me and we'll talk about how smelly his feet was.
Yeah. That's kind of the bittersweet beauty of it is like you've lost this person and now you've also gained an opportunity to become closer with each other and to grieve together and let that shared experience bring you closer.
Right.
Now, if people start weaponizing it and start being like, wait, so you're not going to come to church and support her who's going through this by coming to church? Because I know how Mormons are, looking at every opportunity. That's when you tell them to eat your ass.
Yeah. I'm hoping,
or
I don't think
you
it will,
eat something that you know makes
the
you...
death doesn't bring her closer back to church or anything.
I think if I was in that situation, I'd go back to church with them and I'd have milk products and I would be loudly farty. I would make sure I would commit chemical warfare at church. But yeah, no, it's good that you're not worried about that too much. Yeah, don't let people weaponize it against you. But at the end of the day, like you're probably somebody died. So there's going to be some amount of things where you just have to suck it up that you're uncomfortable with all the weird displays of how people handle that. Because they're uncomfortable with having to handle it too. So whatever silly things they might be relying on to do that, now is not the time to disillusion them with those silly things. That's totally another time.
Right.
But also be sure not to let their grieving make your grieving worse. They don't get to hurt you in order to make themselves feel better, you know?
Right.
But also make sure to not let your grieving, their grieving make your, I'm just kidding. I was going to add a layer to it. That'd be funny. We could do that all night.
But don't let your grieving make their grieving, make your grieving, make their grieving, make your grieving worse either.
Yeah. You got to think about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah. No,
all right, Elise. Anything else before we let you go? Cool.
That was it.
See ya.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Elise.
All right, this is the part where I sexually harassed the producer of today's show. Super hot and sexy producer, would you take us over to the super chats thing, and then afterwards I'm going to touch your butt?
At least I got a break from it.
Is this us? Oh, please, Forrest, please. We know the truth. Please. People saw what you did to me on air.
That's about
live.
how much he. That's about how much he usually begs.
Oh man.
666 from never mind.
That wasn't really one. I'm pretty sure somebody even clipped it and isolated it for Instagram. We can all see you planting your lips on my face that one time. I think I recall seeing it. Somebody isolated it.
Yeah, no, you mean the time when I did it very briefly as a silly joke, and then you, knowing full well that I was in frame and the audience was already commenting about it, told me that nobody saw it and I had to come back up, and so I did it again. That whole situation.
Half of the
you're saying I sexually harassed you there.
Half of the story is true, but also let's say the whole story was true. None of that was you being forced to do it. You came back and you did it longer and wetter.
Yeah, I did.
Right. Right. If anything, look, I said nobody saw that as like a ha-ha, no one saw it. And you were like, and then you put your balls on my shoulder, which got us demonetized.
No one is saying that I didn't get off from it. I'm saying that you did too, and that makes you the aggressor.
No, as my partner will confirm to you, I can't handle anything in my ears, and your
including my sack
in my ears was disgusting.
Hey, I want to make sure you heard me coming.
That's pretty good. All right, you win. Sentinel 7 2079 says, if everything and everyone are the same thing, maybe the real monad was the friends we made along the way. Oh my God.
Yep.
Has Addie gotten us a picture of her in the dress yet? I gotta find out.
The never be harassed again dress. 10 theoretical dollars from Mario. I remember when Forrest began his journey trying to be understanding of theists and was way too polite and tolerant, and now he has zero patience, and it all happened under 1 year. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. You know what's funny? I get equally as many comments saying, I miss when he was really nice, and people saying, like, thank God he doesn't let the dumbass call go on for 3 hours. Now it's just 1 hour, you know? So, like, I feel like I've just gotten more efficient.
My audience is currently moving back and forth between Jimmy uses the mute button too much, and why isn't Jimmy muting these people more? Literally, like they can't just get together and decide, people. How am I hearing this bleep when it literally says it's on silence?
5 monarchy bucks from the fuzzy logic. Union rep here. I thought I said unicorn rep. Union rep here can confirm for us it's a hostile work environment and you can sue. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that.
Unfortunately, I already busted their union up. Busted them up.
Yep.
They don't have an employment contract, but they do have a you must allow me to sexually harass you contract. I actually don't even think that's what he's referring to.
But it stands for nuts, dick, ass, and it's a bad problem.
That was from the beginning of the show, so who even knows what he's talking about? Because it was a totally different topic. Salty Squid 1 says, I imagine Jimmy smells like sawdust. # Bandrew. I don't. What would you say producer, what would you say I smell like when you get close to me and I force you to earn your promotions? I can hear her laughing in the other room.
Awful. Awful.
What'd you say I sound like? Apparently, I just smell like my shampoo.
The most shampoo smelling man there ever was.
Ew. On my body, I smell like my shampoo, though? That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
99 from Renezi 1992. Bandrew today, Bandrew tomorrow, Bandrew every day. As a former professional photographer, that's a very good photo. It looks professionally shot.
We never did talk to Andrew. Andrew was calling in to talk about why MAGA's good, and it would have been the same calls every time. It would have been the same thing we always do.
Yeah. $10 from Sapphic Hazard.
$10 Sapphic Hazard. The world is a butthole. Skipped a few lines. Despite my old age, I'm still not making. We read this one, yeah. Still making not enough wage. Despite all my rage, I am still not making enough wage. I mixed up a little bit. Despite my old age. What did I say?
The world is a butthole. You said the original line. Despite all my rage.
Joe White says, I forgot that.
Andrew, have you likened the weakness of the biological species concept to the weakness of the biological gender concept? I like my non-biological species.
We had that person calling it about the fucking biological species concept the one time. I wish I could talk to that guy again. $20 from Cardinal Chimp. Bring Andrew in. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy.
Here's Addie in the monad dress, and you too can buy this abomination.
Jesus Christ. Awful. Awful.
Well, she looks great. The dress is not helping her at all. That's not doing anybody any favors. Is there, I'm going to ask her
from Alan
for our pervs, is there, I don't know if you know who Addie is. Addie's a porn star, everybody, and she does shows with us over on. She's awesome. She's the shit. She does shows with us over on. The thing that
finally pushed me to leave the church, they were legit crying that a terrorist won the mayoral election in New York. A whole spiel about skinwalkers being real, humans inviting in demons, and can run 80 miles an hour. Andrew, that sounds like that fucking public access show. There's this clip, these like crazy Christian compilations I used to watch years and years ago, and there was this public access show where they were talking about that, like these giant 40-foot demons running at like 80 miles an hour and shit. And I wonder if that spread, if that's like a thing that people talk about now from back in the day.
The skinwalkers for just a brown guy is fucking like not even subtle racism. By the way, have confirmed, she's in the chat. Go find Adeline Gray, her link tree, her links. You know what I'm talking about. She has confirmed there will be a set. And those who are adequately pervy in chat knows exactly what I mean. There will be special content featuring the dress. Okay? Y'all go and enjoy that. Have your worlds collide. Your YouTube and porn worlds collide. That's what we provide.
If I had made a joke about that existing, I would have felt creepy and sexist. But the fact that she's actually doing it is very funny. You know what I mean?
I straight up asked her if she... I literally shot the text back. Should I have felt creepy and sexist? I mean, she and I are, I feel like have become friends enough that we talk about her job and shit, but,
right. I'm probably overcorrecting, but it's still funny to me.
We literally spend a show talking about, she also does like, tours of, or I don't know what it's called, but like a tour where it's like, oh yeah, I can mod her up. Where she goes to one of the legal brothels in New Las Vegas. And so like we've talked about that shit on the show. So I feel like at this point, just asking her if she's doing a monad dress set for that place that just fans go, doesn't really feel like it's, doesn't really feel like it's much a big deal. But it was awesome. It was amazing to have people call in to try and like go on their sexist rants and tell an actual legal prostitute what's wrong with that purity culture is good and what's wrong with her. And I bet you have a bad relationship with your dad. And he's like, actually, me and my dad are great. I just talked to him right before I came on here. Like, it was awesome. It was awesome. Perryform 42 says, I feel like Andrew's last two calls, he's starting to listen. He even conceded to a few points. He still says terrible things. No, Andrew is a character, I think. and he is trying to hold on to the. I think that a lot of his calls and a lot of the notes he tells the screeners is what is most likely to get them to take my call. Because he will call in and be like, I realize you guys were right about no one should die with the emergency rooms, but I am okay with people being tortured because they're here illegally. Like, it'll be that level of thing. Oh, it's Paw Rump, not Vegas. You know what? Paw Rump sounds more like a place that has brothels than Vegas. Right?
Up in your Paw Rump. $50
We got
from
it.
Fuzzy Logic. There's $50 to take Andrew's call because I'm a chaos merchant. Have fun. Hell yeah. I still love
He
that.
hung
Sorry
up.
we didn't do it.
I don't know. Yeah, he hung up.
We would have
before
done
we
it
could
eventually.
Get to it. Yeah, I think you did earn it, but $4.99 from Lazaro. All you got to do is apply, get paperwork, and pay at least $700 to get your citizenship. LOL. I have to imagine there's some reason why. I mean, I'm not going to go into Lazaro's whole thing, but I have to imagine there's some reason why he got. Look, my mother didn't get it until she was like. My mother waited until she was in her 50s, I think, to finally get it. My mother was illegal several times during my childhood, but because she was white and had a British accent, no one gave a fuck. Fuzzy Logic, one more negative impact. Even if you are a cultural Christian who follows 100% humanist ethics, using the label means the hateful Christians get to use you as evidence that the Bible is true ad populum. Yeah.
Truth. $10 from Arcane Goat. I grew a beard chromosome a few years ago. Highly recommend for winter up north. Hell yeah. All that
apparently
hanging down off the face.
She got them. By the way, you can buy the Monad shirt now, people. That's available at linemerch.com. Don't forget, you should come over and hang with us at LineCon, which is tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Seth Andrews, Austin Archer, and Luxander. And apparently, the stickers, there are stickers version of the Monad, this abomination that's drawn beautiful. So Adeline actually drew the Monad, for those of you who don't know, and it's an amazing abomination if you're into horror shit. The stickers will be used for the initial censorships, if you will. The stickers will be involved in the special set. So I'm telling you to go buy tickets to LineCon and go be pervs, people. I said it's okay. Heather says, did Jordan call to brag? I forgot what Jordan's whole thing was. Did he talk about a kielbasa?
No. I don't remember. Was he the one?
Your butt cheeks is
was he the one who the moon landing skeptic? $50 from WK Misty Nipples. My vote is that Andrew is only allowed to call in when Jimmy, Forrest, or Matt is hosting. Ban Andrew, and everybody else is too nice.
That's fair. That's kind of fair. By the way, I sometimes will call people by their last name, and when you saw my arm up, I was half a second away from yelling Nipples, but I meant Misty. Hi, Misty Nipples. I was just gonna scream Nipples, and it would have seemed weird out of nowhere. Kayla Albertson says, MTJ says says she's resigning in January, which we did catch earlier, but yes, that's amazing.
Why are you
also,
sending
that
this
was
now?
an accident for the people who are trying to now super chat $1.99. We generally only take super chats above $5 to put them on the air because we can't be here all day. On to the next one.
$4.99 from that same person. It's good. Well, no, you go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's good
Jimmy
not
Snow's
only because MTG sucks, but because then there's a special election which Dems could potentially take the win on. That would be tight.
And they should.
Could give us a little forecast of what's to come.
$10 from CKY. Hey, Forrest, you're the inspiration I needed to finally, at the age of 34, start my journey into higher education with the goal of getting a biology degree. Thanks, you jerk. Happy to be here. Congratulations to you. It's a magical journey. And I'll be 34 soon enough, and then I'll do something similar, probably. Who knows? $5 from the Fuzzy Logic. Great news about Madge Tadge Gadge. And waiting until January is even better, middle finger, because then it's too late to hold a special election. Well, there you go. You knew. $10 from Meg. Dear kind and gracious Heavenly Father, I just wanted to thank you for being fictional and for providing nonstop entertainment that nourishes and strengthens my body. Hags. Have a great summer. In the name of Zerba, amen. Hell yes. I wonder if I can find. I'm going to wait until Jimmy comes back, so I'm not just sitting here at dead air. But you talk about nourishing and everything like that. It's a phenomenal little artist that I found recently that produced something that reminded me of, and I'm going to put it in chat. And it's completely fucking irrelevant. 10 Canadian dollars from Puriform. Praise be to the Magic Woody Allen superhero Komodo dragon telepath vampire quantum hovercraft me Jesus Tim Minchin 2012. That sounds like a reference to a lot of things, and I don't know what anything. Maybe that's just a thing that man said. I don't know who Tim Minchin is. $4.99 from Colin Studio. Very cool. Have you tried peanut butter spoon with a little salt on it? Also, you don't breed roaches if you love peanut butter. You develop a roach allergy. What? You can develop roach allergy that triggers a peanut butter allergy to what? All right, cool. That's a whole, I don't know if that's true. That's a whole thing.
Hate that for all of us. But do you know that the cat food thing works?
What?
We
what
have
cat
a
food thing?
we have
Eating
a
cat food.
We have a cat. We have a cat, and we feed it a food that makes me not allergic to the cat. It's fucking insane. Yeah, it's called Purina Live Clear, and I know I still have the allergy because we also have a neighborhood cat that comes around, and I immediately react to it. But this Purina Live Clear, we feed it to our cat, and I'm not allergic to it. And that fucking science is so dope, dude.
That is incredibly neat. Incredibly neat.
Something about an egg protein or some shit.
I'm looking for this thing that I was talking about. There it is.
Oh, wait. I've been told I need to reread. Can we go back to the chat with Meg? Oh, that's my friend Meg. Meg 801 says, Dear kind and gracious Heavenly Father. Should I do it as Monson? Or one of them? Dear kind and gracious Heavenly Father, I just wanted to thank you for being fictional and for providing non-stop entertainment that nourishes and strengthens my body. Hags. What is Hags?
Have a great
Lucian,
summer.
am I missing what Hags is? Is that some Mormon? Have a great summer.
I just said that.
In the name of Zerba Christ. Amen. Oh, Zerba Christ. That's going to be a future. The Redeemer of Zerba's universe is going to be a future challenge at one of the charity events. Stick Dev said, I got the sarcasm. Don't worry, Jimmy. I was playing into the joke, but also I very much may be autistic. Many of my friends are, and they all suspect that I am too. Okay, look, you didn't get it. Okay, and that's fine. You have autism. No, I'm just kidding. That's all right. Cool. Ken Reeves says, Forrest, toast 2 pieces of bread, add thick layer of peanut butter on each piece, squeeze pickle juice from a handful of dill pickles, then layer pickles on peanut butter toast and enjoy my favorite weird treat, nom nom nom. I hate pickles so much.
Guys, I'm not pregnant. I don't know why you're suggesting this.
Literally, that was my first thought. I was like, Ken Reeves? Sorry, you're pregnant. While he continues to look up whatever science about the roach thing or the...
It's not the science of the roach thing. It's actually much stupider.
What is it? Is it about the cat thing?
The person who put in something about like how it nourishes them. This reminded me, this I say is completely fucking pointless. I don't know. So this person has a Tumblr account. Who uses Tumblr still? This person. But they're an artist, and I'm just gonna put this in the YouTube chat here, in the horizontal chat. This is somebody else called Media Chomp that is taking their art off of Tumblr and putting it on their thing for the first 2 issues, and then the 3rd issue is on their actual Tumblr because I couldn't find the first 2 on their fucking Tumblr. But this is just an adorable comic that I found, and I'm putting it there. There's part 1.
I'm very offended about what you said about who uses Tumblr anymore. Now, I don't use Tumblr, but I do use Reddit. Therefore, I have to be offended on behalf of other people.
This is an incredible art piece by this person named Pockets with 2 S's. That was very funny.
Thank you.
This person named Pockets, and it's about girls' night and witches and harpies, and it's fucking awesome. And if you're into just fantasy weird shit or just cool, cute shit, read those 3 in order and it'll make your day happier. And this person talking about being nourished reminded me of this fucking harpy lady. Like, surely this will nourish the mothers. And it's great. And look it up. And I said it's completely irrelevant, but I'm happy to share great artists with good people.
Adeline, your new tattoo is cool. Nourish and strengthen our bodies is a reference to how Mormons all have, which is funny because Mormons have a commandment against vain repetitions, especially in prayers, and yet they have a few repetitious prayers, and one of them is at like every meal somebody goes, "Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this food. Please bless it, will nourish and strengthen our bodies in the name of Jesus Christ, amen." And occasionally people will add that a little bit, but it's that, and they will do it over everything. If you have a fucking like fondue tower that sprays chocolate over donuts that falls into a sprinkle fountain with a layer of ice cream at the bottom, dear Heavenly Father, please bless that this food will nourish and strengthen our bodies in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Well, maybe it will.
Did I read that last one?
I don't know. Celebrate the life of the deceased, no religion required, is what that person says for $10. Thank you very 42. Much.
Yeah, but did we skip one, babe?
I don't think so.
I don't think we read this one. Hertz 11235 says, our struggle treat from my Czech grandfather was saltines, hot water, and a tiny bit of sugar in an oatmeal type slurry. It actually slaps. I like getting, this isn't really a struggle treat because these are both kind of more luxury foods, I guess. I'm so poor that this is going to sound absurd. Green Powerade and club crackers. You stack 3 of them. You put them in your mouth sideways, hold them between your teeth, and then you put the green Powerade and draw it through the crackers and let them soak in. The sour melon one. I don't know why, but it's fucking amazing. It's delicious. It's salty. It's sweet.
It sounds
it's
like
sour.
You're making a car battery in your mouth, and that sounds wild to me.
All I know is I used to do that and read Dungeons and Dragons books when I was a kid. And it was like, I sometimes just think about the simplicity of that happiness.
Yeah.
Right before bed.
I hear you.
The club crackers, Powerade, Dungeons and Dragons, jerk off 2-3 times, and then go to sleep.
We had a cabinet next to the dishwasher in my childhood home that was largely just kind of weird and empty. And for some reason, I don't know where they came from. They were just in there. They were just a shit ton of like canned sardines. No idea where they came. Never in my life did I ever see my family buy sardines. Anyone in that family never did it, but they were in there. And I think they just materialized in there. They just grew in there from like fucking from the Underdark. They just slithered in. And I have a lot of memories of just hiding in that cabinet, just locking myself in there, just eating sardines in the dark. And those are the good times. Just a magical childhood.
Adeline,
Then we already read this one.
Adeline, your tattoo is very funny. Or not funny, it's very good. It's cool. Adeline showed me her new arm tattoo. I grew up with Hot Wheels. And it's giving me Hot Wheels.
Hell yeah.
It's the flames on the...
Oh, yeah, no, I see it. I see, absolutely,
Yeah. But I like it. I just think that maybe you being a generation behind me might have
definitely, there's some context there that she's missing. $10 in Green Man Dave. Amongst the anthropophagy, our friends are sarcophagi.
Sarcophagi.
So no. I'm reading it that way on purpose. Because I thought he was saying phagy so anthrophagy would be eating humans. And then sarcophagy would just be, that literally translates to just like eating flesh or eating meat. And so like, I was assuming that was the bit. It was like among the cannibals from England, our friends are eating meat or something like that. I thought that's what they were going with this. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it is actually anthropagi and sarcophagi. That would make sense as well.
I just assumed like sarcophagi would be the plural of sarcophagus. I don't know.
It is.
Octopus, octopi.
It is.
Green Man.
I thought it was a different joke that I had to read it differently.
Fighter of the White Man. His name was Green Man. Excuse me. Kyonkon says, to me that seems like a laser sound. Kyung kyung. Just in case it doesn't count my monthly message for reading. Zerba plushie when? Love you, Forrest, Jimmy. You know what to do to yourself. The thing about that is a Zerba plushie is unlikely. Now, a Zerba sock puppet sort of thing in the future, that could be. But the Zerba, we haven't worked out below the neck yet or below the waist. And a plushie would require us to figure that out, unless we went Diglett with it. What if it's just something horrifically terrible, like underneath it's just fingers? The bottom of Zerba is just fingers.
I've got this. Hold on a second. Oh my god, it's like feathers and shit all over it. I've got this really angry. I've got this really angry giraffe. Ah! Just this guy. I call him Stretchy. Fuck.
Plus, we would only do an anatomically correct plushie, so then we got to work out Zerba's genitals.
You could take. It's got a tongue in there. You have the tongue out the side. You kind of adjust this and have very close to a Zerba kind of thing.
We'd have to create a mangina. Because I think that's what Zerba would have. You ever see Old Greg? Old Greg! Yeah. Could you love me? Could you learn to love me?
Love games? Justin, I read this one.
This is as close as you can get to a Bailey's before your eye get wet. No Lafidia Network.
What's a random fact about yourselves that most people don't know? I have a angry giraffe puppet in my closet that I just remembered existed. That's a random fact that most people don't know.
I realized the other day that even my girlfriend didn't know. I shared this somewhere, but I don't remember where. My routine for falling asleep is put on a TV show, and then literally every night I imagine what I would do if I woke up in an earlier version of me, knowing everything I knew.
I thought your random fact about you was going to be that you smell like shampoo. That would have been
I didn't know that.
Random fact.
I didn't know I smell like shampoo. It was crazy.
Not a lot of people do, but now more people do, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I'm still questioning that. I think she was just put on the spot, and that was the on the spot.
$5 from Monarchy Land. Can we get Zerba emojis for chat? That's a fun idea. Can each of the family and the Zonad, Jesus Christ, seen as though you're such a duck, you won't get rid of that horrendous logo? That is true. He is a duck about it. And frankly, Zerba should be the channel logo at this point by now.
I got rid of the horrendous logo, that super dope one with the two dudes on it. Or two ambiguous gendered individuals are the one now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Promise.
The new logo, the one everybody loves.
Logo is Me and Promise, but it should be Zerba.
Bald. $10 from Jay the Hummingbird. We still know you were in I Love You Like a Love Song videos as the pianist Tommy Valkia. Make it lore, release the feet pics. Also, hard atheists should see a doctor if it lasts for 4 hours or longer.
I don't even get half of that as a joke. Like, what's going on with the love song thing?
I guess there's a guy called Tommy Valkia who's in a band that plays I Love You Like a Love Song. I love you like a love song, baby. I love you like a love song, baby. And I keep hitting repeat.
Like a love song,
I think that's the song.
That's by Selena Gomez and The Scene. Is that what I'm seeing?
But I don't know. But who's the pianist?
Let me skip.
Who's the pianist?
I'm looking.
$4.99 from Colin Studio. That's funny.
It's just Selena Gomez singing. Oh, wait, here we go. There's a pianist.
By the way, Colin Studio, whenever I'm sending a text message to people telling them to log into Colin Studio, I'm not even kidding, autocorrect writes your name. It's a very funny name. Colin Studio says there's occasional roach contamination in peanut butter, so allergies to roaches can sometimes flare with peanut butter. Overexposure to roaches sometimes causes roach allergy. Oh,
very neat. I think it's this fringe that they're talking about. This is the music video here, and I think they're talking about the fringe off the side of the head there. I think that's the joke.
I don't know why you're trying to gaslight us. You've hit play. We can all clearly see that that's you now.
Clearly.
Everybody protects Selena. She's not a Zion. I didn't say that, and she's going to turn out to be a Zion. I mean, she dated Justin Bieber. Now she's with that one guy. I like that
I feel
guy,
bad
though.
for all the child
Funny
stars.
dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also go fuck
things
yourself,
are not
Jimmy, and
going
long
well.
live our Snake Queen, Arden. More power to the monad. Now back to the monad. $5 jail Hummer. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I used to look at like Drake and Josh and all the other child stars I was loving, and I was like, oh, I wish I could be like that. I'm like, now I'm so fucking happy that it took me this long to get into like a place where I have a platform. Because holy fuck, dude.
I'm
If
like
I
simultaneously
had-
mad. Go on.
I was gonna say, if I had even this, like the size of platform I have now isn't the same
Yeah,
that like a Nickelodeon star had back when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And like,
I'm just glad I
if
didn't
I
have
had
social media at that
even
age.
this level of platform, exactly, dude. If I had
Yeah.
anywhere close to the following I have now when I was like 13, Jesus Christ, I would hate it
Bro,
so much.
I'm
It's
so glad
awful.
Instagram did not exist until I was an adult. Because like Instagram, the
Mm-hmm.
way like going home when you were bullied and shit, you got to leave school and go home and reset and stuff. And the way bullying follows you home now because of Instagram is fucking dark.
Awful.
Dork.
Yeah.
I am
Don't
simultaneously
do
mad and
Instagram.
happy
Don't
for
do
the
anything.
kid who played Dewey in Malcolm in the Middle. Dewey is the best character on Malcolm in the Middle, and it's not particularly close. Howell is second. Malcolm's like last, but anyway, Malcolm in the Middle is Dewey was the best character. They got a great person to play him, but he's not coming back for the reunion that comes out next year. Reunion show, that actor basically made like one movie after Malcolm in the Middle, and then he quit acting. And he was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to go get a degree from this university, and I'm going to go and have a band and live my life. And he doesn't even have much of a social media presence. He has an Instagram where occasionally he'll just post a photo of him as Dewey from time to time. And yeah. So I'm like mad and happy for him. Cause he's the best, man.
Yeah. It's a
Eric
whole thing. It's a whole
Persullivan.
thing.
That was his name.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Joshua Everett says, am I the only one who uses octopods and platyopods? No, but Forrest believes that whales are pterodactyls.
So first of all, that's really stupid, and also you mispronounced both of those words. It's octopodes, and no one says platypodes. That's insanity. That makes no sense.
He thinks they're pterodactyls. Also,
$5
he
from
will not
Kimchi.
shut up about how
Fine.
humans are evolving into crabs.
I will fight you. Nice work tonight, fellas. Thank you very much. I would say Bandrew, but I do like the way you two handle him. We do love handling men, and on this channel makes it especially fun.
How do I top last time when I told him to his face that I think he's a sociopath? No, a psychopath. Kim, I don't know what more to do. I don't know what more to do with him.
Yeah, the last time I talked to him, it was with
I'm inclined
Erica
to do things
and
because
like
I'm fond of Kim, so I'm inclined to do things she wants me to do, but I don't know what else to do. Green Man! Thanks for the theme song. My favorite is by XTC, but type O negative. Have a good one too. And then do we have the super chats from the verticals ready to go as well? I can just read them.
Are
if
those
not. Excuse me.
You leaned
There's only a
into
few. Oh well, I had to let it out. It was lodged. It was a little. I'm drinking a
you
Topo
leaned
Chico.
into the microphone.
No, I moved it with me. I was standing upright to dislodge the
So
bubble.
it's a net.
What? Remember I set up the other desktop with them?
The people in the
And they're
vertical
all
stream don't deserve
$5,
to
so you
have
could
their
just
super
type in
chats read.
5.00 and click send.
You blew it.
So can you just go to the vmix? Oh, I'll just read it. Woolite Mammoth says, Jimmy, you gotta watch Zoran meeting Trump and being asked whether he thinks he's a fascist. Trump says, just say yes. He weirdly loved him. It's weird that he likes Zoran now more than Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's funny. Rich is arrogant says, hashtag Bandrew. I thought the evolution corruption guy was onto something, but I was just thinking of Skullgreymon. Also, I'm high. Do you know what, too? I think Trump just respects any guy who has a smoking hot wife. Legitimately, I think it's that. I think that he hated him until she became like a national new like headline. Oh my God, the way people are going crazy with her too. Someone tried to make a article on the right about how gross their age gap is because she's 6 years younger than him and he's 35 or something like that. Literally, like and then it was like, so that means when he was 18, she was 12. Meanwhile, they met when he was like 30 or 32 or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's this whole just like you guys will try to turn anything into anything. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Plus, didn't Trump have a more significant age gap or something like that? I saw
It's
a
like
bunch of
40
responses to that. They're like,
years.
yeah, and it's like, here's all these Republicans with a ridiculous age gap that you don't care about. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I also love all the people assuming that she would be like a fucking oppressed, like hijabi woman, like it's just like wrapped in a fucking burqa and shit like that. And like, just Jesus Christ, dude, come on! Like it's $5 from Lord Ben. Forest, Mars is indeed blue because it's made of methane. Humans are anapsids, and Neptune is red because it's made of iron oxide. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy. You just said some wrong things, and okay. Like, you can feel, you can feel, I know you're trolling me, but anybody can do this and see that you're not a fucking anapsid.
No Channel Hero also said, scientists recently tried to crossbreed a crab with a cheetah. Things went sideways real fast. That's a good joke. That one's actually really solid. And by the way, it would totally work because we're all crabs. Puriform says, if you haven't heard Tim mention, he's an Aussie piano playing comedian, would suggest Woody Allen, Jesus, Thank You God, and Storm, all very funny. Puri, I think this is a great recommendation for everybody else. If there's a public figure who's doing atheist content and they've not heard of Tim Minchin, cancel them.
I don't know who Tim Minchin is. I'm being serious. Is this a name I should look up?
Yes, you do.
Hold on.
Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. Boom, 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 da, da. I had no idea, but it's suddenly so clear. Yes. Look up Thank You, God, Tim Minchin, and now spend the rest of your weekend with Tim because this is some ignorance that fucking you guys better cancel Forrest. Cancel Forrest. Jesus fucking Christ. Get
I think
out
I've seen
of atheism.
Is he the one who sang the A Sharp song? Because I think I saw a clip of him singing a song about
A Sharp.
Okay. Well, I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
He's a comedian. He's a musician, but he's like a concert level pianist. So like the amount of musical comedy he does is already incredible, and he's so incredible. He now also is like the music. He does the music on Broadway now. So like Matilda, the musical Matilda, and the movie musical
Atheist Victor Borga
written by him.
Atheist Victor Borga. Hell yeah. Did you ever watch that guy?
No.
You never watched
Frames
Victor
Debates.
Well, it's fucking. You're saying cancel
It's
me.
not. He's not
and you
Tim
haven't seen
Minchin.
the fucking greatest of all time. He's
not
amazing.
Tim Minchin. Frames Debate says, thank you guys so much. You've helped me deconstruct since 2018 and got me out of the angry atheist phase. We'll get back into it. This is not a dig at you, Frames. There are a lot of people who shit on atheist creators who are angry atheists, and fuck those actual people. Fuck them, and they're like condescending. Every single one of them, by the way, not every one of them, they almost all exclusively tend to be like cishet white people. What privilege it is that you are not an angry atheist, that you're able to move on with your world and get to some level of normalcy. You are such a privileged piece of shit if you're talking down to, the reason I'm an angry atheist is because fascists are fucking us in the fucking face. Because Christian nationalist is fucking raping us. So anyway, you enjoy your this wasn't you, Frames Debate. You weren't saying that. This just is what set me off on that. Shut the fuck up with your, I don't like the angry, wow, you sound like an angry atheist. You should be a fucking angry atheist. Religion is absolutely making this world unbearable. And by the way, I think I'm at the point where I'm pretty sure the fascists are going to win this time. I don't know. It kind of looks like they're going to win.
While Jimmy's all fucking triggered over here, let me go ahead and just pop that also in the chat.
Hitler didn't have nukes. If Hitler had
the
nukes,
best of Victor Borga.
Imagine if Hitler had nukes. Would he have still lost?
Other people have nukes too, and we have a fucking
they're all fucking fascists.
ICBM.
Who's got the nukes that aren't fascists right now?
Oh no, I'm not saying we don't have the most nukes out of fucking everybody. I'm saying that like we have at least mutually assured destruction to lay back on a little bit. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying I'm thrilled about
Mutually
this. I'm just saying
assured
it's not maybe
destruction
as cut and dry.
amongst the fascists. Like, who's the non-fascist with nukes keeping us at bay right now?
I'm saying that none of them are as balls to the wall as America at this moment in this direction. Not none of them.
And America
saying,
being,
like, not in our
imagine if
side.
Germany was the superpower that America is as it fell to fascism the way we are. This is why I'm like, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, guys, I think they might get it this time. It wasn't.
It could be really bad.
Like
It
Germany,
could be really bad. I'm not saying it's not scary.
for the record, guys, Germany had a shot.
No, they did.
It was the old Norm joke where he's like, and Germany choosing for their opponent picked the World War II. And you'd think when your opponent is the world, it'd be but no, it was close. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway. Oh, Frames Debate says I'm an angry anti-fascist socialist. Good.
The unsustainability of like cults as a whole.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did. I got a lot of Topo Chico burpos.
I drank that one time.
Lord Ben.
It was horrible. I don't understand how people ended.
Lord Ben says, do you remember that time? Was it you on a show that I was producing and I thought the mic was muted and you were like in a call and I burped and I realized, was that you? Back when I used to produce your shows?
I don't remember because I've done too many of these, but it sounds really funny.
Yeah, I was terribly embarrassed. You don't look on air and the super chats, who cares? But like, can you imagine like having a producer you were on with somebody else and just hear, and I was like, oh my God, I did not think my mic was open. Anyway, Lord Ben says, proud angry atheist here, living in an evangelical environment. I will continue to be an angry anti-theist. Keep it up.
That's the best way to be.
Keep it up. And stop letting anti-theists define what anti-theism is. It's so fucking cringe where they're like, here's my video of why I'm not an anti-theist. Here's not what anti-theists actually say they are, but it's a caricature by which I can feel very superior to other atheists by saying why I'm not an anti-theist. Fucking Christ. Let us define our own goddamn labels, you goddamn assholes.
I feel like the caricature is just like the person who can't let someone just be religious and is literally going out of their way to start fights about it. And like it, and I get why that's a caricature and why that's a problem, but I've yet to meet anybody over the age of like 15 that's behaving that way. You know what I mean? It's just
and it's like you don't get it because there's some group of people. You don't get to define a whole group of people by like one group of people. I believe that's called bigotry. Like, is that not definitionally bigotry? Like, get off your fucking high horses and go march, you fucking dickbags. The way I don't respect half of the atheist online community, though. I'm not going to call out any names. People might figure out the impression I did, but
I've been on a speaking tour with this talk that I've been doing for like over a year now. It's called the Life Lessons from the Lab, how learning science makes you a better person. And I have a whole segment in there at the end about fucking calling out skeptics and about like what skepticism is and is not supposed to be. And how all these fucking skeptics out there who think that the more people you offend, the more skeptical you are and shit. Like, because we have so many that I will just fucking the cringy angry atheist that actually is a thing out there and it sucks.
Yeah, but angry, like, I'm not going to let them define it. You should be an angry atheist, but those assholes aren't angry. They're just, look, can we go with like douchey dicks? They're just dicks because it's literally like, we get it. Congratulations on your white penis. Actually, and it's not just white penis. Congratulations on your penis and your old religion that used to tell you it was very important. That's no excuse to be a fucking transphobe. It's really weird that there's something about being Mormon or Muslim where if you come out of that and you become an atheist content creator, the odds that you are a transphobe goes up by like 90%. It's weirdly disproportionate where it's like you get a good number of transphobes from the other groups, but an ex-Mormon telling you guys this, it's fucking weird the amount of transphobia how much it goes up amongst the ex-Mormons and the ex-Muslims. They both start and end with the letter M. Is that somehow related? And that looks like 4 boobs. And you're like, a woman cannot have 4 boobs?
That must be what it is. That must be what it is.
I think so.
I can think of no other reason. Are you reading this? Forrest, there seems to be a chat undercurrent suggesting that you should react to Tim Minchin live. Just a thought. I'm not going to do that, but I appreciate the sentiment.
He couldn't technologically figure out how.
I could very easily just share my screen and do it. I just can't do both. I can't share this and the other screen, and then you wouldn't be see live reacting.
I didn't expect you to take it seriously. Forrest,
I like to roll with it.
I like that we get to say things and people hear it. I like that we get to talk to people, and I like that we get to help people articulate their arguments. This job sucks, dude.
It's a weird job. It's a weird job. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it is very strange. It's very strange.
I would trade it for the world. I would trade it for the world. Are you kidding?
Dude, I wanted to
trade it for a pack of Pokemon cards.
I have wanted to be a content creator my entire life. Since YouTube became a thing, it's all I've ever wanted to do. And so I am over the moon. I am very, very happy with my job. I love it. I'm not going to say it's not fucking strange. It is weird, and there's a lot of people out there that think that it's just easy as pie, and you just fucking sit around and just be famous and get money and shit. No, it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly strange. It has its own risks and its own weird. Like I have not. I don't know, man. And the more successful you are, the weirder it gets, and you can never have a normal relationship again. And it's very strange if you don't have like it's just. I don't know, man.
I have twice this week tried to explain to people why raping virgins whose parents and family you just murdered is wrong.
Yeah, that's not a thing normal people have to do, right? And like I have been grabbed. I have people fucking like want me to sign shit and take pictures, and like people talk to me this close to my fucking face all the time, and I have to explain why slavery is wrong all the time. And
you need to learn to be less polite in some situations. I have told fans who come up to me to move back from me. Like, I'll be polite about it, but I'll be like, I need more space than what you're giving me right now. You got to say it like sternly too, so they take it seriously. And I don't allow.
I'm working on some stuff.
People when they walk up, do you turn down hugs?
Yeah,
because you should.
Not usually. I try to be because I understand
it's
that like
a
some
bad
people might
precedent
really
to set people to expect.
Okay, that's a good point.
It's bad. Do not hug us. I don't even
as long as they
anymore.
ask,
elbow bump.
As long as they ask, because like it's different from like I've had people go up and fucking like snatch me, and like that I have a problem with. You know what I mean? People use me as a prop. One time I was at a thing. I was at a convention and I was talking to a group of people. And I got like a semicircle of people around me, right? And I'm having a conversation with these fans. And this person comes up behind me, grabs me, turns my body physically, takes a selfie with me, and walks away. Doesn't say a word to me. And that was just a thing they thought was okay
you're allowed
to do.
To hit that person.
Because
that's assault.
Because at that point, you have such a parasocial relationship with. I'm not a person.
Yeah.
I didn't even see this person's face. Like it was such a fast event. I don't remember anything about the person besides how weird I felt. And it's like that type of shit happens from time to time at shows and at conventions and shit. And like
was me.
That's part of the job that's very strange. Yeah, it was you.
Wouldn't that be funny? Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if I like you were telling that story and I was like, Forrest, that was literally me. I didn't realize you didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was me. Guys, don't hug.
That would be
don't
very
hug
funny.
People you don't know. But also, like, the expectation is crazy. I'm fully like I'm immunodeficient. I'm gonna die because a fan was sad I wouldn't touch them, and then I felt guilty.
Yeah.
And was like, all right, fine. And then I fucking like catch whatever. My liver flops over, and I just die. Thanks, asshole. Don't just assume hugs, guys, and don't be offended when they don't want hugs. Just also don't. What's with the hugging culture?
Just ask.
I liked it when I was a kid, but realistically, it was probably because I was pubescent, and that was the only way I could the loophole to feel boobs. Yeah, it's creepy, but it's what we had. Okay. So guys, like fucking, we're not feeling each other up. Let's not do the hug thing. Let's hug the people we know and love and care about. You don't know us. Lord Ben says, it's weird being an atheist listening to Christians talk about how stupid astrology or Scientology or tarot cards are, restraining myself from speaking. Yeah, it's like when the rapists get together and talk about how fucked up the child molesters are. Like, my guy.
$5 from this person. Jimmy changed my mind on abortion. Just want to remind you, there's still hope for our country. Keep good work. Well, that's awesome to hear. That's fantastic.
I hope that the context isn't that I talked you out of getting one that you were getting.
I was gonna say,
Wouldn't it be funny?
You changed their mind. They were pro-choice, but your arguments were so bad. Now they're pro-life.
What if the beginning of the sentence was, I was sitting in Planned Parenthood, but Jimmy changed my mind on abortion. Also,
he was
the other
talking
side
about
of it,
how it should be allowed, and I hate him so much. I just decided to have this kid to spite him. That's what it was.
The other side of it could have been I was pro-life and I became pro-choice because I realized the exposure to Jimmy made me realize that my kid could turn out this way.
That's exactly right. Yes. Not worth it. What's that clip?
Yeah.
Fucking somebody's talking about breastfeeding. Like, were you breastfed? And like, yes. Like, okay, then I'm definitely doing bottle. Like, you know, that kind of whole shit. Just like, whatever you did, get me away from that.
That's good.
Oh,
like
fuck.
That. I think that we've got all of them. You want to answer a meme card and then we go?
Yeah, sure.
That one, we don't drink.
And
What do you drink? Do you drink?
The MAGA, I don't. The MAGA peoples, what didn't call in, there's one, I was going to do this. I'm going to prove to everybody right now that I don't want to be president, but I'm going to prove to you right now that I would be a better president than Donald Trump. Watch.
Mm.
Bam. Just that easy. Also, I've never fucked any kids.
I don't think Gen Z knows at all what you just did.
Right.
Do they know about
But that's
analog
what makes
clocks?
it so beautiful. They'll look it up and they'll understand. Well, I guess they don't even know what the shape was, I guess is the issue.
Oh, wait. Can you hold
Why
it back
didn't I
up?
just draw an iPhone? All right.
Can you hold it back up? Will you draw it again real quick?
Yeah.
Just quickly.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got you. Because I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm sure it's going to be hysterical. There's that. And then,
it's going to annoy you how not funny it is.
Bam.
Okay, I want to see how quickly you get this. Write the number on the clock that corresponds to the minutes 35.
The minutes 35.
Yeah, which
So you're saying,
write
like,
the number
like,
that the big hand would be.
Okay, so like
right there.
You're saying like
Oh,
draw
nice,
7 here?
All right, well, goodbye everybody.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. 6-7. We're gonna ruin it for them so they shut the fuck up about it.
Backwards.
By the time you and I are done, we will cringe 6-7 out of existence.
That is the only way to do it.
Hey everybody, make sure these are the old ones. Sorry, we'll get that fixed at some point. I do not think that is the current list, but I could be wrong. I have been wrong 6 or 7 times, 6-7 times at least. And there's no music. Let's play the
fine.
Cause I wanna. Isn't that how you usually do it?
I got this one.
Let's play the game.
I got this.
Forrest plays this when we make love.
I do.